Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
It's Friday. It's also game day here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Hey!
We have a guest in studio. Are we allowed to just right off the top get to that, Bull?
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to Baby Bull.
Yeah, sit, buddy.
They got a camera shot of you. This is young Aaron. And as you can see, he's nothing like his father. He's very shy. We've been having a small conversation here. G. Bush engaged him on Pikachu and all of that.
Yeah,
Charizard.
that was like speaking a foreign language.
Yeah, no, we didn't know what was going on. But we can already tell the kid's a really good kid, special kid, smart. And later in the show, he's going to give a final take.
He is.
I'm told.
Yes.
So
he's ready.
That's something to look forward to. He likes Uncle Buck too?
He does.
That's your favorite movie.
Well, that's his. He did a monologue from Uncle Buck for his play audition.
Oh,
and
that's
so
right.
That's what he'll do
thespian,
today. He's
right?
going to
He's
perform
an actor.
that. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, I can't wait for that. That's coming up later in the program. We've got a lot to get to today. Obviously, it's game day. Guardians and Yankees, game 2 from Yankee Stadium. It's a 107 start. I don't love it. I'll tell you why I don't love it. We're also going to give our predictions on what we think the game 2 score will be. We're going to hand out the Browns quarter pole awards. It used to be easy to do this. After 4 games, you were at the quarter pole.
Yeah.
Now that there's 17, the true quarter pole is the end of the first quarter of game 4.
That's true. Right.
We couldn't do the awards then because the game was going on.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, of game 5.
Of game 5, yeah.
Yeah,
After
right.
game 4, at the end of the first quarter of game 5.
Yes.
That's the true quarter pole.
That's true.
So we're going to round up a little bit, and we're going to give you some awards to this point of the season.
And I'm surprised, by the way. I said to Mike, 3 of these are going to be unanimous, and only one of them was.
Yeah, I was surprised to that, too. I thought for sure 2 would be. Because the questions to me seemed like these are slam dunk.
Yeah, the MVP.
I mean, I know who the MVP is going to be. If that's not unanimous, whoever is.
That one is.
Whoever
that one is
didn't.
unanimous.
Okay. Because that one, I didn't even think about that one. But there was another one that I thought
would be unanimous, but it wasn't.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm the guy that had the odd guy out. We'll find out.
It was not you.
So also, DeQuell Jackson is going to be. He's coming to Cleveland because he'll be at the game Sunday, the Browns Patriots game. I wish he was in studio. He's not able to come in until tonight. He's going to join us as he always does from his home in the D.C. area. And we're going to talk all things Browns Patriots. It's our last preview, so we're going to get into that deep, very deep. But first, I didn't want to lead here. I don't want to start here. I thought we were done with this, but it's news. It pertains to our team and our quarterback, so we have to be on it. We have to at least talk about it. We are not going to go down a rabbit hole and spend any more than we need to on this. But obviously, you've seen the headline by now. A 26th lawsuit has now been filed by Deshaun Watson. There are some things different about this one. This did not go through the Tony Busby law firm. There is a different law firm that is handling this one. But a lot of the details sound very similar. Deshaun, according to the lawsuit, reached out to the licensed massage therapist, and that is different because as far as we know, most, if not all of the other women were not licensed massage therapists. Right. This one was. She alleges that they met in a Houston hotel room, which I never understood. You're going to get a massage. Why are you going to a hotel room? That would be the first tip-off to me that something other than a massage is going to go down. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I have a place of business.
Right.
You come to my place of business where there will be other people. I just don't understand that. But anyhow, she went there. He said, according to her suit, he was pressuring her to engage in sexual activity. She consistently resisted. Eventually, Aaron, plug your ears. I feel so dirty talking about this with a young child in the room. I really do. The whole thing makes me feel dirty.
Discarded.
But he finally persuaded her to perform oral sex on him. And now she said that she's suffering some negative effects from this whole thing. So she is clearly seeking financial payment for all of this. Guys, I don't even know. I mean, my first thing was, oh, no. And after that, I almost feel like I'm numb to this, and I think that's a bad thing. But, Bull, where are you?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, as I always am, not that I don't have sympathy for any woman that may have been potentially taken advantage of. I don't know enough about the situation to know what the reality is. From a personal standpoint, I'm kind of sick of talking about this, right? I'm sick of the story. To me, the story at this point, I'm not one of these people that's been saying, oh, Deshaun Watson's a great guy getting bad-mouthed by these women. I don't know the reality. Only people that know the reality, as we said before, is Deshaun Watson and the women. They're the only ones that know the truth. We all can make our judgments. Do I think Deshaun Watson's a great guy? I do not. Do I think he's done the worst thing that's ever been done in football? I certainly do not. Am I ready to just see him on the field no matter what happens at this point? I am. And I don't think this is going to affect.
Not no matter what happens. I mean, there would be allegations that we could hear about. So, of what we think we know right now.
Yes, what I know right now.
He's paying his price, and you're ready to see him. It
changes nothing for me. He's had his penalty. As part of the agreement, I know Tyvis actually retweeted this in our text chain yesterday, and I hadn't remembered this, that Mike Garafolo reported back at the time of the agreement in August that if any other allegations come up, as long as they took place before the agreement was signed, which is the case here, that you couldn't add penalties. So unless
and we should stress that the bottom line is he's coming back.
Right,
week 12.
Changes nothing
unless we hear of something that happened 3 months ago.
Yes, then that's a whole new ballgame.
Then we have a big issue.
But that's not the case because
this
is 2
goes
years
back to
ago.
2020.
Yeah.
So and you're right, and I'm remiss. I sort of buried the lead. I should have started with he's playing Week 12.
Right.
Even based on this new information.
Not based on this, nothing's changed.
We didn't hear anything last night when this suit was made public that would lead the commissioner or anybody. And by the way, the NFL and the commissioner has a much bigger nuclear bomb on their hands right now. In the Dan Snyder
case.
Dan Snyder is now he's denied the report.
Right.
But if you know Dan Snyder, you believe this report.
He got his finger on the button.
He's saying,
play with me.
You want to run me out?
Yeah.
I've got all the goods. I've got dirt on Goodell. And you know what happens in the mafia? You know what usually brings the mafia down?
They do.
The mafia.
Yes.
That's right.
An informant.
And I'm not calling the NFL the mafia. What I'm saying is there's a lot of things, a lot of secrets inside that circle. And when that circle of trust is broken amongst one of the family members, that family member is going to sing. Dan Snyder, and I believe him. I do. I have no reason not to believe this report.
I bet he's got good dirt on Jerry Jones because they were buddies.
He saw.
Bull, I bet he has it on everybody.
On everybody.
He saw,
and by the way,
he has all the email.
At least the mafia is honest about what they do.
At least he saw what happened with the Clippers and Sterling. Yeah. He saw what happened in Phoenix.
Yep.
And he told himself, I ain't going out like that.
No. Or if I do, I'm bringing others with me.
You're going to have to come hang out with me.
And the quote was, bring it all down.
Yeah.
You always use appropriately, you said that the Deshaun Watson attorneys had their finger on the nuclear code, on the nuclear button, because they could have forced discovery in other cases that the NFL does not want going public.
And Jay, that's the only thing that can bring them down is them. Like, you got to think about it.
That's how big they
CTE didn't bring them down. Yeah. All of the emails didn't bring them down. None of these allegations, none of that.
Institutional racism.
So, all that.
So you and I, this is how we hear it, right? I hear it. I see the print in text in the story. In slang language, he's like this. Oh, you want to do me? I'm about to pull up on you. I'm gonna pull up. No, pull up.
I'm pulling up on you first.
I'm pulling up on you first. Right, and that means that you're gonna do me. No, you're not gonna do me.
I thought it was interesting.
I'm gonna do you.
Last night during the Thursday night telecast, which again was like having hot oil poured all over your body. Watching that
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row, absolute trash. And
but you had to know it going in that was gonna be a bad game.
They got to start flexing these.
And by the way, they talked about the low scoring and how it's at like a 20
It is.
low
That has
or whatever.
continued now through weeks.
It has. But what I found interesting was that Al Michaels, who's kind of in the, Bob Costas went nuclear on the NFL and their CTE and said, I'll never take another dollar with an entity that's involved with that. And now he does playoff baseball for TBS. He does Major League Baseball stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But So if there's an equivalent to him, it's probably Al Michaels,
Right.
who's this institutional icon who got run out of Sunday Night Football by NBC.
Yeah.
Now he's at Amazon. If he was with NBC, he never would have made the comment that he made last night during the air, during the telecast. Bob said during the game,
Al.
Al, Al said during the game, while they're showing Dan Snyder, there's a report out that he's got dirt on the league. He basically gave the headline. And then he said, I think it's pretty clear at this point, Roger Goodell and the rest of the NFL just wishes he would sell the team.
Yeah.
Sure they do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do.
Of course.
But Al wouldn't have said that if he was a 45-year-old broadcaster who had 30 years.
No. Yeah.
He knows, I'm at the end of my
What are they
rope.
gonna
You've
do to me
already
now?
taken things away from me.
He's a multimillionaire.
He doesn't care.
They can't do anything
And
to
I
him.
thought it was really refreshing to hear someone inside the league say what we all know.
And here's the thing, guys. And sorry, Brad, but you know, G mentioned our text chain about what Bernie said yesterday about the NFL. Like they're just waiting
for us to die.
Right? Think about it. If you read about this Dan Snyder stuff, the thing the other owners are most mad about is not all the inappropriate behavior there. It's not the losing. It's that they couldn't get a new stadium. That's what they care about most because they want money. They want stadiums. That's all those guys care about is the bottom line. That's all. And that doesn't mean all 32 of them are bad guys. There's probably some good guys in the group, or at least somewhat good guys.
Right.
But by and large, all they care about is dollars. They don't care about any of these. They care about when they make their decisions, it's all about what's going to make us more money or what's going to cost us more money. That's it.
To that point, in a world where one wrong move by the top dog can get you canceled and fired, when Ray Rice came out, the video, I read a long, lengthy piece. I think it may have been the Wall Street Journal. Someone wrote an op-ed that basically the entire thrust of the piece was any other corporation in America, the top guy is gone. Because remember, the commissioner gave Ray a slap on the wrist. Then we saw the video of him actually physically knocking his wife out in the elevator. And America was outraged. And the piece basically opined that any other corporation, the CEO that gave this employee cover is gone. The reason they didn't make the decision in that moment, and you'll remember his butt was in a sling. There were those that were screaming for his job. Ultimately, the 32 owners decided, we're making money. And we're doing it because he's the guy.
That's right. So they'll never get rid of it.
So let's not upset the apple cart.
That's right.
This too shall pass. It did.
It always does.
And there's Roger riding high.
Yeah.
When in reality, any other corporation, he's gone long ago. Go ahead, McNuggets.
I have one thing I want to add to the Dan Snyder thing, then I want to ask G a question, and we'll move on and we'll wrap up this.
Well, Brad hasn't really gotten a good comment in.
Those two can get in, but the quote from the article yesterday that stood out, and this is a direct quote from Seth Wickersham's article. Quote, the NFL is a mafia. All the owners hate each other. The response, that's not true, one veteran owner says. All the owners hate Dan. Which, in that whole 10,000-word article, those two lines
I didn't read that. That's interesting.
That's not true. All the owners hate Dan. Back to the Watson thing, though, G, real quick. You put in the text chat last night, the timing of this was not surprising to you whatsoever. You want to elaborate on why you're not surprised at the timing of these new allegations?
Well, you know, before we get to Brad, this was all part of the game plan. Like, you know, when he was ready to get back into the building,
keep coming.
He was back in the building, and now the pivot is, let's go ahead and drip and slow drip this thing out. Now there's more people, because here's the reality: if they was doing these allegations, right? If they wanted these allegations and they were forthright about what they really wanted to do and come forward. He's been gone for what, dang near 2 months?
Yeah.
They could have came out one month ago. They could have came out 4 weeks ago.
G. Bush, they could have come out a year ago when this story came out. What my biggest problem with this, and if she is actually a victim, I feel horrible for her and everything she's gone through. But here is the one thing I just don't understand. You knew this was going on for a year.
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
Why now?
Yeah. To me, and my thing is like this, man. The way I feel about it is, I'm not going to drag. I don't know if they feel like they're going to just drag it on and keep dragging them and keep dragging it. In this country, he served his punishment. At the end of the day, everybody who does something wrong has a punishment. They deliver what they need to do, the deliverables. We don't know what he's done, but part of his mandate was to go get counseling and do all these other different things.
That's the only thing that's going to stop him from playing.
That's it.
Is he not following the counseling?
You know what?
Is there anything he's still doing now that gets brought up? That's it.
Do you guys think, though, that, because I thought about this, the league ultimately will have to rubber stamp his coming back on the field because there were stipulations. I think the biggest problem that he faces now is because this is still in the news cycle and it didn't go away, they might not be so quick to rubber stamp him and say, come on back. Not that they're going to relitigate all this, but I think it might make his road to return a little more painful for him because here comes another one.
Jay, this is here. Let me jump in here.
By the way, I don't agree with that. I just asked that question.
Jay, this is never going away.
I don't think it is.
So I don't know what happened between him and her, right? I don't have any idea.
I left out one detail. He paid her $300.
No matter what he paid her.
No. The reason I bring that up is because her fee was $150.
Yeah, I saw that.
She took $300 in cash from him. To me, it sounds like a prostitution transaction.
It does.
Well, here's the deal, right? This is never going away because it could have conceivably happened, right? But now it looks like a money play. You late in the game, right?
Yeah.
Just weeks before I come back, now you jumping up with a new group, right? Now
a new attorney.
A new attorney. Now,
I want to know why he's not with Tony Busby.
I said, is this because you saw the payday?
Yeah.
The word on the street is how much they got? Is this that now? Because you have to think that this will not be the only one, right? This may never go away. Some of this has to do with everybody in the world knows how much he got paid.
Yeah.
That's facts.
It's guaranteed cash out there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's public knowledge.
He cannot.
You don't want here.
And it's guaranteed.
Let me tell you how.
He's going to get it regardless.
Let me tell you how I'm coming at you, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming at you like this. Oh, you don't want this dirt in the news. You don't give me some cheddar. Yes, you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Especially now that he's
so you don't know what's extortion now and what's not extortion now.
No, you're right.
This game is going nowhere.
What's interesting to me is I want to know, I hope somebody interviews Tony Busby today, and here's why I say that. Did Tony turn down this case?
Yeah.
Because Tony took everything.
Yeah, I know.
So if Tony turned it down, which I'm not saying he did, I'm saying if that's the case, then he must have known something about her that made her less credible than the other women.
You would have thought, because once you saw he had the bag, he had everybody, right? So why would you just not jump
here's
in
the
here?
thing. What is the downside? Why would people say that? What is the downside from saying, giving an allegation? What's her downside?
No.
If it's not going to court.
She's Jane Doe.
She's Jane Doe. Her name's not going to be listed. She's not going to have any sort of public outcry.
There is none.
There is no downside.
Now that doesn't mean it's not true.
Doesn't mean it's not here.
But
it definitely don't mean it's not true.
There's no risk for that person. If it is not true, there's really no risk.
They just say, okay, well, we didn't win.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I think we chewed it up for as much as we can on that. The bottom line is, unless new information comes to light, he's playing in Week 12.
Yes.
Presumably, he'll start against the Houston Texans in Houston.
It's just a mess.
Script
It's what
that.
it is. It's a mess.
Yeah, Week 13.
Just want to make sure.
12th
Game
of
12,
the year.
Week
Game
13.
12. All right, Browns Quarter Pole Awards. There's 6 of these, right?
There are 6 of these.
4, 5, 6.
We have one unanimous.
All right.
I thought there'd be more.
And it's the first one.
And it's the first one. So let's get the format out of the way easy. I asked you guys to submit your awards. We got 3 answers. And then if there was a tiebreaker, me and Anthony decided the 4th. So for first award through 5 games, who's the Browns MVP? And this was an obvious answer.
This is no question.
So let's show the graphic. It was Nick Chubb. There was no second choice. There was no third choice.
If you had to pick a second choice, who would it be?
Ooh, now that should have been the question.
Right.
That should have been
It's like Nick Chubb's the MVP. Who's the number 2 guy?
Number 2,
Who's your number 2 guy?
The number 2 is
I think there's. I think there's.
You're gonna say what
I
I'm
hadn't
gonna
really
say.
thought about it.
You know
but
what? That we can't think of
No,
somebody.
I got somebody.
No, I got multiple guys. I could pick. The candidates to me are Amari Cooper.
Pick one.
Both guards have played great.
I would pick Joe Bitonio.
Pick one.
Yeah.
I would say I would agree with G. I would go Joe Bitonio.
But I got to tell you,
I'm gonna come
if that's
different.
your MVP,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come
you
different.
got a problem.
It's unexciting.
I'm gonna come different.
Yeah,
Okay.
Give me Jacoby Brissett through 3 quarters.
Through 55 minutes.
Yeah, 55
First
is the GOAT.
55 minutes, Jacoby
His
Brissett.
3 interceptions
he's
all
the
came
GOAT.
Last 5 minutes.
Give me that.
First 55 minutes, he's the GOAT, greatest. Last 5 minutes, he's the other type of GOAT.
So if I'm Stefanski, take note of that.
Yeah.
Says it 55. We going the other way.
Yeah,
We
run
going
it.
the other way. We're going
Run
the other
it.
way. Going the
No
other way.
throwing after
That's
55
it.
minutes.
Who would you? I mean, Joel Bitonio is not sexy as an
I
MVP.
think Amari Cooper, you can make a case for.
Now,
I
he's
think.
had 2 games where he was invisible,
That's a shame.
and we've only played 5.
If you have a trouble saying the second best player, that means the first player is that dominant.
How
He's
about
carrying your
Njoku?
team.
Njoku's been.
I think you could make a case for Njoku, Kareem Hunt, Cooper, Bitonio, and Wyatt Teller.
We will
Okay.
talk Njoku coming up real quick.
All
We
right.
do have a super chat before we get to the next one.
Super
Wood Dog
chat.
says, regardless, D. Watson has to be better going forward. He put himself there. I will cheer for him because he's a Brown. UCSS is the best. Appreciate you, Wood Dog. All right, award
You
number
can
2. We got 3
separate.
different-
Again, you could separate. I don't have to love Deshaun Watson to root for him as a player.
I know you can.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with
I
that.
hear you, but
I'm having a hard
remember,
time
like
with
for
that.
everybody telling you shouldn't root for the Browns
No,
got probably
that's-
45, 48 guys who are good guys.
See, even with that said, right? Even with that said, the problem for the public is this. Hell, we wasn't there. We don't know what happened.
No, we
Right.
don't.
We don't.
But
We
it
don't know the
wasn't
truth.
one.
We just know
It's
there
now
was a train.
26.
We just know it was a train of people, and then you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
But we know that there were 26 of them.
Right.
That's-
There are 26 people
that
that made some accusations.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Right.
that's
Right.
Yeah.
That's all we can
That's
say.
where my level of
It's
concern
hard.
goes
It's-
up.
it
as
is
We're
that
not
number
saying
gets
it did
bigger.
not happen, but we're not saying it did because you
don't
don't
know.
Nobody knows
We
unless
don't
you're
know.
in the room. Go ahead.
We
What's
got 5
number
more
2?
awards before we get to the
Yeah.
Quell, who's laughing at us as we go through these. The Quell's
Man,
going to get you on
you
here.
better worry about who Maryland
Second
playing this week.
award was 3 different answers. It was the biggest surprise so far this season. I'm going to read you the answers. The nominees were A, Ethan Pochich, B, David Njoku, and C, the collapse of the defense.
Say that again.
We had the polls
Collapse
come
of the
in.
defense.
Production team decided on a winner. Let's see how the voting came out. Your winner of the biggest surprise to the first quarter of the season is Ethan Pochich, the 3rd-string center that no
Wow.
one expected.
That was you,
Who has
G.
the
That
was
4th
me.
highest PFF grade of any center.
You know,
in
it's
football.
funny. I was going to mention Ethan Pochich as a possibility, too.
You guys are you missed it all. You got everybody missed it.
I didn't even
I'm sorry
think
you
of it.
missed it.
You know what? Jay's answer is actually a really good answer. I didn't even
I
consider
think
that.
it was
wasn't
a
a
great
person.
answer. I thought it was a great
it
answer.
wasn't, but it's the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
We were
It
talking
is.
about this defense being
Fair.
the top-rated defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the top-rated defense would have shown up, we would be 5-0.
Yeah.
But they've been invisible. In fact, they haven't been the top-rated defense. They've been the most maligned defense in the NFL this year.
Without question.
Yeah.
And that to me
I was
is
watching-
the story
Without
of the
question.
season.
I was watching
is that.
PFT for a little bit this morning, and Chris Sims was basically laughing about the Browns' defense, about how bad it is.
I've heard several national
Yeah.
conversations where they actually turned to laughter.
So
That's
yes,
sad.
your answer is a good answer. I was looking at Pochich too, which is funny. I didn't think anybody
Because
else would
we talked about J.C. Treader, remember? J.C.
Right.
Treader.
It hasn't mattered. He's done a good job.
went down, and we were like, who we got at center?
Right.
And Bill Callahan, they might want to give him a
He
lifetime
is the
contract.
MVP.
They better give him a lifetime deal.
Great coach.
They-
Unbelievable.
He's the best O-line coach out there.
He has these dudes, and it doesn't matter who it is.
Position coach, group
Yeah.
coach. You can say it in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's nobody that does their job better at coaching a group of players than Callahan does. He's just
Crazy.
incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Jedrick Wills is the weakest link of the 5.
Yes.
And he's not terrible.
And he was. And by the way, we're going to talk about this later.
Yeah.
But it's time that we put the Andrew Berry draft picks under the fire,
No
under
doubt.
the microscope.
No doubt.
Yeah.
There's some bad ones.
And I'm gonna
It
make
is a
that
topic
point.
for tomorrow.
I'm going to
Do
make that point.
Not
in the
tomorrow,
next one.
for next week. We have it.
Well, in our 4th award, I'm going to make that point that
Okay.
it's time to start looking hard at these picks. Because, quite honestly, right now, I know it's early for this year's class.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't want to make any long-term, deals here. But I thought the previous regime was better at picking players.
I'm going to go look at it over the weekend and compare the
okay.
last 2.
And they traded for some big players.
Yeah, they
I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
Next week, we are going to get into some player development and the player selections because there's been some development issues as well, especially on that Browns defense. Award number 3, we also got 3 different answers. The question was the most disappointing Brown so far this season. We had Grant Delpit as a nominee. We had Denzel Ward as a nominee, and we had Joker as a nominee. So we put our collective heads in the production booth together. We awarded the gold medal, and the gold medal, and I'm not sure you want this gold medal, goes to Grant Delpit.
You guys are all lost in the soup.
Yeah, when it comes to ties, you guys are no longer
Actually,
able to break
hold
ties.
on.
How is Grant Delpit a bigger
wait,
disappointment than
wait,
Denzel
wait.
Ward?
The podium does not equal the result. This is a moonlight situation at the Emmys. The most disappointing was actually Joker. Delpit did not mean to win that. Anthony and I and Earl had a little communication
Wait
issue.
a second.
So
The podium
what
was
they
wrong.
did was
They changed it.
No, but
Yeah.
you guys are still wrong. The answer is obviously Denzel Ward. He's been awful.
I don't think so.
Denzel Ward's been awful.
He has been awful,
been-
but I don't think he's been as bad as JOK.
I think he's been worse, but JOK is a young player who we weren't sure how good he was.
Yeah, but
Grant Delpit
DeQuell,
even less.
DeQuell said he expected this young man to have a breakout.
I know, but Denzel
season.
Ward was already a Pro Bowler.
This is kind of
A
close.
multiple-time Pro Bowler, and he's been horrible.
This is
close.
This is close.
This is close.
This is close.
I don't think
And
it's
you know
close.
what? Another bad thing for the team. We
close.
can't figure out who sucks the most.
It's
Yeah,
close.
that's true.
Game to game. It's
Well,
like-
I just don't know how it's not
And I-
Denzel
and
Ward.
I-
He had the highest
And
expectations
I'll
of
say
the three.
for Denzel, the problem is that he sets such a high standard.
Yeah.
And to this point, he's played under the standard, right? And,
Yeah.
and you know, he's played under. And I hate to always do this. I never do this. I never equate what you got paid.
I hate
with
doing
how
that
you play.
too.
I don't
I
do
hate that.
right? Because they're two
Well,
separate.
listen,
they're two
with
separate
the big
transactions.
paycheck come the big
However-
expectation.
But I will say I separate them because it's just a way of doing business. But I will say your performance level has not been where we expected it to
Right.
be and has caused a problem. Now to the JOK side, I'm lost.
I am too.
Because
can't figure out how
I
he's
thought
that
you
guy.
was a player.
I never saw that
And
out of
I'm
him
like,
last year.
so then I'm wondering now, is it not that JOK doesn't have any talent? Or to your point here, there's a slogan at Ohio State football, right? We have a thing that says developed here. I don't think anybody over there get developed at all.
I think they're using him wrong.
When you
I don't think you're getting developed at all.
Hold on. I like
Yeah.
that, Bull. I like how to use them. I think when you get DeQuell in here, to me, they should use him like Troy Polamalu. They should use him as a guy who don't have very many.
Kind of a flex safety.
Yeah, he don't have very many responsibilities. He ain't got all these keys and reads. He's a guy that is a rover, a guy that can
Hawks the ball.
Go get the ball. You right
Attack.
here, sideline to sideline. He doesn't. You shouldn't have him with responsibilities because when you see him and you look at the all 22, he's light, and if you're light and indecisive, you're in trouble. Because if you get anybody on your body,
Right, you're done.
He's done. He's not getting off that block.
Remember the movie The Replacements? Did you guys see that with
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
And then on defense, there was, what's his name? It was the director. He's a, oh my God.
Opie Cunningham? Who is it?
No. Guy who plays the linebacker. He was, oh my God, he's the big director. He's in the Marvel movies. He's Iron Man's assistant.
Man, you
I
watch
can't
too much
think.
TV.
He does watch
What
a lot of TV.
What's that?
No. I can't think of the guy's name in real life. Jon Favreau.
Oh, okay, yeah,
plays
yeah.
a linebacker in there. And Gene Hackman, who's the coach, goes, Danny, I need you to get me the ball. Get me the ball. He's like screaming, get me the. That should be what they're doing with JOK.
well,
get me the ball.
let me-
Do what you got to do. Attack the quarterback. Do whatever.
This is why I'm troubled about JOK, right? And I get what you're saying when you get a body on him, it's hard for him to shed
It's
it.
done.
I still go back to the play last week, right? I don't know if you guys remember this. Eckler's running to the inside, right? He's playing linebacker position, right? Now, I guess the scheme was him to go to the outside and cover the outside, right? At some point, why are you standing way over here when the action? I mean, he was so far to the outside. Like you nowhere near the action.
That happens a lot.
It's
And
clear on this team that that the coach thinks that this team should be able to read and react, and be able to kind of dissect
And all
on
be
the
on the
field.
same page.
And they can't be. They're not capable, so you got to switch it up. But the bottom line for me is
Fundamentals.
Denzel Ward had the highest expectations of all these guys.
Yep. Yeah.
I think they've
That's-
all been equally bad.
That's the
and
problem.
Denzel had the highest expectations.
And-
so that's why I picked
Ward's
him.
been better the last 2 weeks. We got 3 more words we got to get through.
That's why I
Back in
didn't
on
go
these.
with Ward because
Yeah, he's
I
been
thought
better the last 2
I
weeks.
thought last week he was much better, but the week before I thought it's almost like
Would
I
you
said
tra-
this.
would you
Is he in
trade
a
him?
personal funk?
Ward?
Would you trade him?
He's untradeable.
would not.
No, he's untradeable.
His contract's untradeable.
Yeah,
his
probably is,
contract
but
is
I wouldn't trade
untradeable
him right
right
now
now.
anyway. I need him to get back
Based
on
on the
track.
player that he's become this year and what they're going to pay, second highest paid corner in the NFL.
We've
untradeable.
seen him be good.
Right. I'm not.
Yeah,
ready.
he should be good
We need
again.
him
I'm
to
not
return
ready.
to
Yeah, I'm not
Denzel
ready to
Ward.
move off of that.
All right, we
Next.
got to run through. We got these 3 more
Yeah.
we'll bring back to Quell. Next was best rookie. And Jay, we had 2 answers here. Someone voted for Cade York, but we had 2 votes for. Take it, Steve.
got to be Martin
Fourth round
Emerson.
pick, Martin Emerson.
Yeah, no
he is
question.
There's
so
no question.
far.
Who- you
the
picked
rookie of the year,
Cade York?
the highest
I picked
graded
him.
That's
defensive
funny. I
back
would have guessed
in
Jay picked
Brown
Cade
second.
York.
No, I just love Emerson.
He's been great.
Emerson has been the star of the defense so far for me.
Yeah,
Oh no, Emerson is and this is hard to say. He's better than Newsom.
but Newsom was really good last year and hasn't been this
But
good this year.
Emerson's
been their
he's-
best defensive back without a doubt.
Emerson is big. He don't give up plays.
No.
And when he do give up a play, he's next to you.
Yeah.
He in the mix.
Yeah,
like,
he's not
been really
AWOL.
good.
He's not out of the picture.
That
Yeah,
looks like an excellent pick right
It
now.
By
does.
the way, so I said I would bring up the draft. So
Yeah.
so here was, and it's only been 5 games. Here was the 2022 draft class. Martin
Okay.
Emerson, hit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Alex Wright, we liking him?
Looks useless.
oh no, Alex Wright is terrible.
A dog.
They let him go free, and he's
Yeah,
self-checked.
he's a zero
David
right
Bell.
now.
What do we think? David Bell.
So far, he's been a zero.
Zero.
He's a
no impact
He's a
whatsoever.
zero right now.
And don't tell me that rookie wide receiver. I see rookie wide receivers
making
tearing up the
impacts.
league everywhere.
Yeah.
Perryon Winfrey.
Zero.
Bye.
Dog.
Yeah, they ain't-
Cade York.
Yeah.
Jury's still out. I think he's going to be a good one.
Now, to be
I mean,
fair,
you got him as your best rookie.
Yeah, he's
Jerome Ford. I don't know.
he
We
hasn't
have
played.
not
I
seen
don't
him.
know.
To be fair, I
Michael
mean,
Woods?
it's only been 5 games,
I know.
but
Michael Woods.
He had a hamstring.
Isaiah Thomas. Dawson Deaton.
None of them.
yeah, the only guy we're excited about is Emerson.
That's it.
Those other guys are late draft picks. Those are always crapshoots anyway.
I mean, third rounder.
but
for
everybody
Wright.
was like, well, we drafted Ford to replace Hunt there. Now,
you can look at last year's too. Why you tripping?
Listen,
Yeah.
I almost did that, but I didn't want to take a
some of those guys haven't played. Ford hasn't played.
I know, but
So we
here's the
can't-
deal. I'm
he's an
watching other
incomplete.
teams.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing this. 6th round pick out of
Sure.
UCLA. What an addition he's been to
yeah.
this
What a
offense.
surprise.
4th round pick out of Nebraska. A huge surprise.
Yes.
We don't have that.
I would say the only thing on Ford is he's not going to have an opportunity because they got great backs right now.
No, I understand
Okay.
that. The
Even if
jury's
he's-
out on some of these guys.
Right. Even if
but
Ford
on
is-
some of them, with our eye test
No
so
doubt.
far, I'm like, how did he get drafted?
The defensive linemen both stink, those two
Terrible.
guys.
Right? Perryon Winfrey?
I
Awful.
thought Jay.
I thought
Ford was going to return kicks.
That's what I thought he was
Yeah.
going to
let
be
me
too.
keep
Jerome
going.
Ford's hurt right now, technically.
Let me-
so
Oh,
yeah,
I-
he's hurt.
Was he? So he was inactive the last couple of weeks because of an injury.
He got hurt in the Atlanta game at
Okay.
the first kickoff.
Let
of the
me go
Atlanta
back.
game.
Okay.
Where is there Dearness Johnson sighting?
We have
No,
not
Dearness
seen
who?
him.
He was
But guys,
inactive one.
the
So
reality
he
is
did
you don't
on
need
special
those guys.
teams.
We got
Yeah,
two great
I
backs. We don't
think
need
when
them.
you 3-2, you need. I mean, when you 2-3, you need everybody.
No,
to
but
get
they're
their
not
hands
2 and 3
on.
because of their
2 and
running
2.
backs.
Well,
Two-
he was the
When you're
chip.
2-2, you need
He was the
everybody to
chip
get their
because
hands
his
on.
stock was high last year.
Togi horrible.
Horrible.
Elliott terrible.
Yep.
Schwartz, we don't Milkbox, we don't even know. Like they got a lot of them.
Schwartz is coming up next.
Schwartz
and
is
we're gonna do
coming
a
up
whole
next.
deep dive into Andrew Berry. Now, I promise you it is on the list of graphics we're
Yeah,
going to make.
because
Tuesday
his
or
genius
Wednesday, we're gonna do a
credentials need renewed.
A big deep dive. Okay, this next award, 3 different answers. It's the holy crap, he's still in the Browns
Wow,
award.
3 different. I thought
Three
this was a
different
slam
answers.
dunk.
We had
did.
a vote for Greedy Williams.
Yep.
And I just see Jay's face. Jay just said, holy crap, he is still on this team.
No,
We had a vote
I
for
know he
Jacob
is.
Phillips. And we had a vote for Anthony Schwartz. The production team put our heads together. And take it, Steve. We had also forgotten that Greedy Williams was part of this team. Anthony Schwartz, after running into the tackling dummy this week, was top of mind here.
Can you show that on Tyvis?
Yeah, we'll show it when we get to him. But yes, Greedy Williams.
I mean,
the
all
winner,
3 are a waste.
I mean, that Greedy a second round pick. They traded to get
Jacob
up to
Phillips
get
was
him.
a high pick too,
Guys,
isn't he?
Anthony Schwartz is here because he's fast. He's a wide receiver, but he can't catch. He's here because he's fast, but when we decided to run a jet sweep 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
We ran with
gave it
tight
to
end.
our tight end. Why? Did they think Schwartz was going to fumble the handoff? Why is he here?
Well, all 3 of those
How
guys
is he
should be
still
gone.
here?
All 3 of those guys
I've
suck.
already made my case on Schwartz. I said in preseason, I'm like, why are we holding on to the dream?
He just
This is a classic example of the
ain't got
GM
it.
refusing to look in the mirror and say, I might have got this one wrong, and you hold on for dear life.
That's the GM doing the Jesse
But I can
Jackson.
argue that with all
That
3 of
was-
those.
If
Although he
anyone
didn't
didn't
draft
see
Greedy
this
Williams.
video, by the way,
that was
Steve,
the
take
GM
tag
doing
word
the
full
Jesse
and
Jackson.
play.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive.
If you guys didn't see
Hold
this,
on.
just
Yeah, no.
check it out.
Schwartz couldn't get through.
Watch this. Catches the ball.
Damn.
Bro, he can't get through. He
Damn.
can't get.
Look at him pushing. It wasn't a regular. It was like, come on, let me in. Let me in, guys. Guys, stop playing. Let me in.
He's like the little kid, and the big bully is holding his head while he tries to run. And
Look,
you know.
this
Guys, he's an NFL player.
he is a grown man.
no, he's not an NFL
Yes, he
player.
is. He's getting a paycheck from an NFL
That's a grown man paying taxes. He can't get through the dummies. Come on, bro. Look at him. It took him 1,000.
Watch.
2,000. 3,000.
Well, even when he's halfway through, I think he can.
Watch when he gets through. Watch how he dodges the next one. Watch when he gets through.
All the moves.
He's slick now.
He spiked the ball.
He's real slick, too.
And he threw the ball in the end zone.
He spiked the ball after the video got cut off, I
My
bet.
gosh, this is my problem.
God. All right, we got one more, right?
Let's get,
We got last one real quick, and it is the best play of the year award.
That's funny.
Jay
That's
and Bull gave us the same answer, which is the winner.
Wow.
But I want to give G the credit. He said the Browns have been so bad there shouldn't be any play of the year to nominate.
I don't remember
So you
anything
take
of
it,
noteworthy.
the play-
Oh, yeah. Well, when you hear this one, you're going to remember it. You were
Is
on the air when it happened.
game-winning field goal against
yeah,
Carolina.
Yeah.
You went nuts.
I did.
Everybody did.
That was
We
a
all
great
did.
moment.
It was.
It's been pretty much downhill since.
I said there was no play. The play of the year was Pickens' one-handed catch against the Browns. It's the best play I've seen this year. He should have got the award. I got to give it
You
to
know,
Pittsburgh.
I think what we can take from this exercise, it's very simple.
Yes.
Nothing's
We
unanimous.
could not name a second MVP. Chubb, and who, by the way, is our most underutilized superstar.
Yeah.
17
He
carries.
touches the ball about 20% of our offensive plays. So we all agreed on that, but then we couldn't come up with a second MVP. Like, who else do we have that's valuable? Anybody? When it was the most disappointing, we all had different disappointments with players. Biggest storyline, I don't know, we were all over the board. We suck.
Yeah.
I hate to say it out loud, but
I won't hear. I'm not saying we.
And we're going to bring DeQuell in.
Let's
on
bring
this
DeQuell
because
in the
he's
mix.
laughing, and he's been chiming to get in here. So
Oh man,
You see
Hey,
him?
God.
You see him in the
God, I
judge?
can listen to you guys. I can listen to you guys talk about this all day. I've been laughing my ass off so much, so I had to have a.
Go get it. Take a double. Take a double, bro. Take a double, bro.
You got a drink to talk about the Browns.
Bro, what's
That's
up with
true.
you?
Oh, man.
Well, what's up with the dummy,
or
bro?
talking about
what's
the
up
Browns
with the dummy,
drives
bro?
you to drink.
You see the dude in the dummy? What is this?
Yeah, I saw
Stop
that,
playing
man.
with me.
I mean, it looked like he had never done the gauntlet circuit ever in his life. And what are we in, week 5? You know what to expect, and somehow you can't get through. It took, 3 seconds? That's embarrassing.
Hey,
And the
DeQuell,
fact that someone
DeQuell,
recorded it.
you immediately go to the inactive list that day. You're inactive.
At that point,
You're
after
inactive.
2 seconds, I would have faked an ankle
cramp.
injury or something.
My
'Cause
hamstring.
that's
Oh,
embarrassing.
my leg. My leg.
DeQuell, if you were on the Browns right now, and by the way, we could use you. We really need you at linebacker.
Ooh, it's a lot
We
of
could
issues
use
there,
DeQuell
man.
on the field right now. I don't even mean prime DeQuell. I mean, you right now are probably better than anybody they got at linebacker. But
Yeah,
if you were playing, if you were still on the Browns, and you had seen Anthony Schwartz do that, what would you have said to him in the locker room? Like, would you have been busting his chops?
Or I'm side chatting with other guys. Is who we have to depend on? He can't get through a tackling circuit. He's a dummy. This isn't a real person. This is a gauntlet circuit you've done since high school. What are we doing here? Are we really that bad? But yeah, you know what? If I saw that, I couldn't talk to him because I wouldn't have anything nice to say to him.
No.
I'm
Dummy had artificial
that's
intelligence.
embarrassing.
He was AI.
Absolutely embarrassing.
The tackling dummy is a better football player than Anthony Schwartz. I think that's what we've learned here.
DeQuell,
So
let me ask you
guys,
this.
okay, go ahead.
Let me get to this. Like, J.O.K. to
I was
me,
just about to say that.
when I see him,
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Take another shot.
he had no.
Yeah.
I mean, he just no keys, no gap, no. Like he takes false steps. I just don't know. I was thinking he was gonna be something else. Do they gotta move him to like a bandit position or a rover where he just kind of just run around and tackle people, because assignment football is not gonna work with him that I see.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And right now, when I watch him on film, first and foremost, I think he's playing out of position for starters. They had him playing the Sam backer. He should never. He's too light. He doesn't play well with offensive linemen using his hands to play that Sam position. That's the first issue. The second issue is he's undisciplined. He has his fundamentals. He's hopping in place when the play has already developed, and he's relying too much on his speed. He's not being coached up on the small little detail things, and that is going to, no matter how much talent you have, what type of physical ability you may have, if you play undisciplined, you're just going to get lost in the sauce, man. And right now, he's not showing any progression. And I had a lot of hopes for him going into the season. The first issue, I realized it when Anthony Walker got hurt. I'm thinking, okay, JOK will be primed for this role to finally take that next step in terms of being a communicator, in terms of, being that leader, stepping up to the challenge. And he wasn't. He's not a full-time starter. He comes off the field. So Jacob Phillips is the guy that stays on the field, which is the problem. But in terms of JOK, he's playing terrible. And for what I thought he was going to show this year, man, he's regressed a lot. And no wonder they had to go out and get Deion Jones, the guy off the street, or trade for a guy to come in that has some experience, that understands how to play assignment and fundamental football. He's all over the place, man. It's embarrassing to watch. It really is. I went back and watched the game and watched him solely. He's not reading his keys. He has bad eyes. He has bad footwork. He doesn't do anything good, in my opinion.
Okay, so Quill, you see, there's some personal skill sets that we think he has, right? We see that. What we thought. Is it because he's just not being developed over here? Because it has to be obvious. Anybody who coaches at any sport at any level, a guy that has talent that has to be coached up, because he getting worse every week.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Let me tell you what the other teams are doing. And this is a basketball guy telling you. They see it on film. We going to him. He the weak link. Right. We're going to keep trying him because he going to give us a break here, right? And every time they go at him, I don't know. I don't know if it's him. Definitely. I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know what it is.
So what would you do with him?
I had a coach named Billy Davis. He was probably the smartest position coach I've ever played for. And he realized I was pretty good at dissecting plays and watching film and trying to, picking up tendencies from the offense. But what he realized was my first step, I would drop step. And he was like, listen, that split second is going to either going to miss a play or you're going to make a really big play for us. And if you can work on these things, your career just continue to take off. And he drilled my ass every day, all day, the entire group. We had these shoots. Basically, these shoots were like, they were chest high, and literally we would have to run 5 yards, 10 yards in these shoots just so I could stay low, so I'm fundamentally sound. I don't know what they're doing, because a lot of there's not one linebacker that doesn't take a false step, that isn't just flawless in terms of just playing the linebacker to its core.
Footwork.
Footwork is everything from a linebacker standpoint. And if you don't have it, I don't care how fast and how strong you are, you're not gonna be able to make the plays that come to you when it presents itself.
Is he salvageable?
I think, listen, right, what he does do well, he can cover. And I think you have to put him in positions in nickel. You know what? If there's a tight end that could pose a threat to your linebackers, you need to match him up. He's not a blitzing guy. He doesn't do what you have to either blitz him, give him one responsibility, or he's covering a tight end or some slot receiver for that matter. But he doesn't play zone that well. You know what? He's average when it comes to zone coverage.
So you telling me
man coverage and pressures, that's what he does well.
You telling me your star linebacker is a specialty guy now?
Yes, he's a specialty guy.
He's a one-dimensional specialty guy.
And I would even take him out of the linebacker position.
You
have to mix him up. I would much prefer to see him as a safety cleanup position as opposed to D-line and linebackers. You have to be gap conscious, and if one guy jumps out of gap in front of you, the linebacker has to be smart enough.
I saw it against Eckler.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, this is where I talk about creativity with coaching staffs, right? If the Browns were smart and creative, they would create a totally new defense.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something you would see everywhere else, but you would have JOK playing like an outside bandit backer. You probably should stand Jadeveon Clowney up, and you don't have really good enough defensive tackles to be penetrators. I would tell them your job is to make sure that these dudes can't get to the next level, and I would make those secondary guys, the tacklers and Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney might rush ends where they rush, but they don't have the personnel for a 3-4, and that's or 4-3, excuse me, and that's why they're getting gashed.
The Quill, and we all who have played know this, right? You have some coaches that they can only coach inferior players, right?
That is true.
Right. They do well when you
true.
got an inferior group of players, right?
Because they
But
get the most out of them.
they get the most out of them.
Yeah.
You give them some talented players, they can't adjust their game to the talented players. They can only do this little thing here. And what I see here, because I'll use Loxley in Maryland as an example, he got lesser players, but he's getting the most out of his people over there.
No doubt.
Not that he ain't gonna win no games, but he getting the most out of his people.
Easy, man, easy.
Right. I said, but when I look at Stefanski and his group, right, we have all these supposedly talented people. We underusing Chubb.
Yep.
We're underusing Hunt. We lost on Amari Cooper. We lost on. They tell me about David Bell. Is a David Bell sighting?
I don't think that's all fair.
Hey,
We're not
no,
Chubb.
here.
Chubb's like second in the league in carries.
You're missing my point.
He should be first. He's
My
the best running
point
back.
is you have a dog, right? And I don't care that what I want to do in this playbook says I'm going to spread it around 100 different times. Well, 100 different times not going to work.
But the Browns' problem is the defense, not the offense. The offense is playing well.
The problem here is you're missing my point again.
Yeah.
The problem is your thinking. You have to be able to adjust on the fly what G was just talking about, what the Quell was just talking about. You have to be able to adjust to what the situation says, not what your book says. I like, okay, this is what I got to do to win here. And I got to use this dude and this dude and this dude. And this dude here, he's not doing it. So now he's going to the sideline because I can't play him at linebacker, man. He's a safety guy.
And by the way, Myles Garrett don't even look like the same.
Oh, my
player.
God.
No.
Well, he's still injured, I think. I think this car crash, listen, for him to come back when he did, I think he's having lingering effects of it. And I think he was probably in a position where he felt like, man, I got to help this unit out because they're not playing well. At least if I can be in the lineup, I can be somewhat serviceable, even if I'm not 100% healthy. But to your point, Brad, I think it's time to start sitting guys. You got to make some noise if you're Joe Woods and say, you know what, JOK, you're not helping this team. You need to go sit down. Or we're gonna, or we'll see what happens when Deion Jones comes in, who's out of the rotation.
He's actually played all right.
You have to start making adjustments that way so you get the attention of the other guys. Denzel Ward, listen, I love Denzel Ward. I think we all do, but he's been playing like crap this year. Not only in the passing game, in fire zone coverage, he's letting coverages cross his face. It's just day one stuff that he's doing. But the other thing I've realized, they're putting him in running and tackling situations. 2 weeks in a row, down in the red zone.
Goal line.
He's to the nub side. Teams are making him play, run, and he's not. That's not his thing. That's not his thing. And if we see it, you think Bill Belichick doesn't see it?
Yeah, that's the fearful thing.
That play on the goal line to Quell where you have free players. Denzel Ward is the outside force player.
Right.
Not only did he get caught inside, 3 other people got caught inside where one tight end sealed the whole corner as Eckler walks in the end zone. To me, that is middle school. That's middle school.
It is.
I've never seen a professional team like that. And you said something too, and maybe you can shed some light on this. See, sometimes as players, when your coach don't let you be who you are, right? When they keep telling you we're gonna play this defense and it's soft as peanut butter.
I just said that.
And you just, but it strips you of your ability and your will to want to go play. And what I see is a bunch of people that's on the field saying, we're in this weak defense. He don't put us in a position to be aggressive. And you talked about that earlier this year, because I first time I ever met you, you came on here, I said I used to hate y'all's 3-4. I wanted the Steelers 3-4, not the Mangini 3-4. Right. That 3-4 is different. I hated it.
Yeah, no, listen, I think right now they have to be able to shake things up. So here's what's going on right now. If you're in that locker room, if we're talking about how poorly this defense has been playing, the coaches are harping it. They're harping it to every single snap, every single walkthrough, every practice. They're overcoaching right now. And it takes a veteran with experience to understand, listen, guys, just do your job. And the issues that's happening is once team starts to get rolling, and let's say we get a 14-point lead and we give up a touchdown, now guys are looking next to each other like, oh man, I got to be the one to make the play. And now what happens? You start jumping out of gap, you start playing undisciplined, and then it's a trickle effect. And, you know, they have to get it fixed. They have to, because right now Jacoby Brissett is playing winning football. The offense is playing winning football. And if this team is going to be able to withstand, you got to go out and win this week. You know, this schedule is picking up. And it's going to be, if this defense doesn't get corrected very soon, this thing could turn very fast. And when that happens, you're going to lose that locker. That defense, oh, my God. You're going to I call it checking gangster. Guys are going to be out there remixing calls, doing whatever the hell they want.
Remix.
And going rogue. Bernie Kosar.
Really
Take that.
Bernie was on yesterday. He told us his last play ever for the Browns, he drew up in the dirt.
Take that.
And it went for a touchdown.
DeQuell,
I knew I would. Go ahead.
These guys have been going crazy, and they've been killing the Browns, deservedly so. I'm usually a lunatic when it comes to the Browns for the past 12 years, and I've been, I think, the voice of reason, trying to keep people calm. They're still only a
You
game
the
out
voice
of
of reason?
You believe that? I mean, it's impossible to believe. I've never been the voice of reason, but I have been the last 2 weeks. But I'll tell you this, as calm and as positive as I've been the Browns, if I don't see Joe Woods change something up this week, and if they lose this game this week, I am going off on Monday like you have not seen in a while, because there is no excuse. Their run defense, like, I get it, they don't have the best talent for a run defense, but there's no excuse to play this poorly. If they do it again this week and make no adjustment, no life, no energy, no aggressiveness.
It's been that way. It's been a preseason.
That's why we're going.
No, but the run game has been embarrassing defensively the last 2 weeks.
After the first half.
Yeah.
And
Right.
what the
Right, that's the
Chargers
last 2
did-
weeks.
Yes, but that's
Yeah.
why I said after the Falcons game, they found the Browns cheat code. And all San Diego or all the Chargers did was look at the second half of the Falcons game and said, guys, we can run on these as much as we
The reason
want.
I gave them a somewhat of a pass last week is because at least with the Chargers, you got to worry about their quarterback, and that's going to lead to struggles in the run game to some degree. Where this week, there's no worry about the quarterback. I mean, Bailey Zappi, give me a freaking break. Even if it's Mac Jones, they better show. And it's not just Joe Woods too; it's the players. Show some pride, some life.
The Falcons quarterback was Marcus Mariota.
I
didn't have to
hear
worry
you,
about him.
but that's one game. And then the Chargers. It's the second game, but they got a great quarterback. Third game, that's the end of it.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem as I see. You're 5 games into the season, a number of preseason games. You're regressing. You're not getting better, right? The players are starting not to buy into it. You start to see less hustle plays. Hustle all the time.
That's it.
That's indicative in any sport that something is going sideways here, right? And the players know there are people out there that can't perform, right? So if they can see it, why your coaches can't see it? And DeQuell knows this. The only way you get people's attention is to lop somebody's head off, right? So if Denzel not getting it done, guess what?
Get him out
we
there.
lopping your head off.
There's another way
today.
you can get someone's attention is go out and trade for someone an hour after a terrible loss.
They did that.
and they did that. McNuggets is telling me right now in my ear, we can never show Browns video. We can't show practice video, but McNuggets has just told me that we flew a drone over Berea to get to find out what the hell's going on over there.
This is high production stuff.
Do we have the video in?
Never underestimate me and what we can do.
I need you to analyze this video, DeQuell, and tell us what the hell's going on.
Oh my God.
Okay, now what the hell's going on here? Look at JOK. Now watch the ball carrier. What the hell's going on?
Is that the ball
what's
carrier?
happening here?
We got that's actually JOK. He's running circles on the practice field.
Oh, that makes sense.
Anthony Schwartz can't even break through these guys. Can you fix this?
There's a guy on his back right now. It looks like our defense in the black right here.
I love the caption
my
on the
God.
video. Struggle is real.
Look, 23 years of patiently waiting.
Hey man, he said that. I just did a video. If y'all want to watch it, you gotta check it out on the barbershop. And I so eloquently put it. I have footage of every single Browns coach since 2000, since 99.
Okay.
And if you run that footage of Kevin Stefanski in his postgame, and you run that same footage of Mike Pettin, Pat Shurmur, Rod Chazinski, what's your boy? Freddie
Kitchens.
Kitchens.
Yeah, Hugh
Jackson. It's all the same.
They're all the same people.
It's all the same. And here's the I made.
What do you mean it's all the same? They're all making the same excuses, or they're all saying it's going to be fixed?
No, it's the reason why they don't never learn from other people's mistakes. They don't learn from their own mistakes. And when you go through and watch these cut-ups, I kind of compare it to pulling Excalibur out of a rock. People say, "Where do you go with that analogy?" Everybody has heard about the Cleveland Browns since the beginning of time. Everybody wants to know about the history, the helmets, Jim Brown. We are a flagship organization. Everybody wants to prophesy about getting the Browns back to who they are. So they go here, they come in having good intentions. But when they get here, all they care about is pulling the sword out of the rock. I want to be king. I want to be known as the guy who brought us forward. I want to be known as the person who got the Cleveland Browns organization back. But then they don't understand. It ain't about just getting them back. It's about how you go about doing it. And so they get here and start to go the opposite way. Instead of playing to what you got, it all becomes, well, how can I look the best? How can I look the best?
But again, and DeQuell, jump in here. I don't know. I think lumping Stefanski in with all those other coaches is unfair.
Why?
Because
same penalties.
Well, I agree with.
Well,
Bull on
first
this.
of all, those coaches all lost 1 million games. They didn't come, and none of those guys had winning records. Kevin Stefanski,
21
with
17.
bad quarterback play generally, outside of the final 2/3 of the 2020 season from Baker, basically bad quarterback play from subpar quarterbacks with Baker and Jacoby, has won more games than he's lost.
So hold on.
The offense is not the problem.
Hold on.
It's all about the defense.
Here's what y'all missing. Kevin Stefanski is not the head coach of the offense. He's the head coach of the team.
Okay, you're right.
No, hold on. So if you think I'm right, if your defense can't do anything right, he is responsible for the defense, and who's coaching it? If he can't get it done, he got to go.
Yes.
Special teams. If you can't get it done, I'm sorry.
I'd fire both those guys.
But my problem is Stefanski is operating as if he got all the time in the world. This is the best team, the most expensive team, and a team that has a window. He's operating like he's on a 3 to 5 year program. Ain't no such thing as a 3 to 5 year program. I operate on the sense urgency of today, nowness.
This is my problem. And here, Stefanski's not above catching the heat, smoke. He not, right? Let me tell you something.
Yeah, but there's a difference between catching smoke and comparing him to all these losing coaches.
No, let me tell you something. When you come from a winning organization, the standard is here. It ain't here, right?
They don't have a winning organization.
No, the problem is that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
The culture. It's led by the dude at the top. If the dude at the top is soft on it, the team gonna be soft on it. I'm gonna just tell you this. The stuff I see week in and week out, I'll speak for most Brown fans, it's irritating. Right? It doesn't change. Don't tell me how smart you are. It's about the culture you establish from the beginning. And the other thing you got to do as a professional coach, you have to hold people freaking accountable. I don't care. And the day you don't do that is the day you lose the ship.
DeQuell?
I'm a little bit more patient. I think it's unfair to lump Kevin Stefanski with everyone else, knowing everything that I understand he has the talent on the team, but he's winning with arguably a guy who no one expected to play this well. So Jacoby Brissett is playing winning football. The offense is playing winning football. I think we have to give him a little bit more time, right? Because right now he's trying to he has a groove. He developed a rhythm with the offense. Let's give it some time. Maybe as the weeks pile up, he's talking to Joe Woods. He's going to make the necessary, whether it be a firing at the end of the season, whether it be someone else being promoted. You're going to have to shake things up at some point, either during the season or during the bye week or in the offseason, because right now this team is underachieving with the payroll they have on defense, with the guys they have on paper. They're underachieving. Yes, I get it. But he fixed one problem. I'm a little bit more patient with him because he's proven he's had this team win football games, and under his tutelage while he's been there. So I'm a little bit more patient. I think it's a little bit unfair to lump him with everyone else. Right. I'm going to give him a little bit more time to get it right.
Here's my issue, DeQuell, and I'll just tell everybody this. Mm-hmm. My standard of winning is different. Mm-hmm. I've been on winning. I know what winning looks like. This ain't winning. Yeah. This just surviving. That's all it is.
I'll jump in and
500 football is surviving.
But Yeah.
Brad,
Yeah.
to that point, I understand that. We're all
You're right, in the long
furious.
term, yes.
But here's what I would say. We have seen the coaches that Jimmy Haslam has brought in here. We know what his track record is at hiring coaches. I think with Stefanski, he stepped into one. He got it right. Now, if you hire enough of them, the odds are eventually you're going to get it right. I do think Stefanski is the guy. I wish he would be more global than micro with the offense. I wish he would be the head coach who is heavily involved with the offensive philosophy and game planning, but not calling the plays.
But Jay, that's just the way all the young coaches do that. All of them.
They don't.
They do.
The vast majority of plays in the NFL are called by the offensive coordinators.
No,
it's been that way for
not
a while.
with young coaches.
It
but
is.
all the young coaches.
It is.
No, all the young coaches call their own plays.
No,
all of them.
They don't. Brad.
Can you name one that doesn't?
They don't. Can you name one that does?
Every young coach, Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley does not call all the plays. For
Yes,
the
he
Chargers.
does.
No, he doesn't. And your guy in Cincinnati doesn't either.
Yes, he does.
The offensive coordinator's calling plays.
No, he
there.
doesn't. Zach Taylor calls the plays.
I read last year at the end of the year that the offensive coordinator was getting heat because they thought that some of the plays early in the first half weren't good. And he was taking the heat for that.
I never saw that. And Zach Taylor, as far as I know, calls all the plays.
Help me, DeQuell. I don't know what percentage of offensive coordinators are calling the plays in the NFL.
Yeah, I thought the majority of them were calling the plays, and the head coach could delegate between offense and defense.
And that's my point.
That to me is the recipe for success.
And that's the model that there's an offensive coordinator position for a reason.
The Browns have an offensive coordinator.
And I do like his offensive mind. What I would like to see Kevin Stefanski, clearly, you're saying the problem isn't the offense. Well,
it's not.
That's because he's so heavily involved with it. If he wasn't so heavily involved with the offense, he could be more involved with the defense and start
you
helping.
You think Zach Taylor is involved with the Bengals defense? No.
He's the head coach. He damn well better be.
I don't think any of the young coaches are. I don't think Andy Reid's that involved with the defense.
He's involved in
You think Mike Tomlin's involved with the offense heavily? I doubt it.
No, well, you're wrong. But what about Bill Belichick? He's a defensive guy.
I was in Indianapolis.
Go ahead, DQ.
Yeah. When I was in Indianapolis, I walked into a situation of a winning culture, right? And it was all new to me. And not Eric Mangini, but Chuck Pagano was the head coach.
Yeah.
And what I realized quickly, let's say we fast forward to the season. What I realized quickly, he wasn't the offensive coordinator. He wasn't the defensive coordinator. He spent time in meetings, walking from room to room, talking to guys. Are we comfortable with the team? And he was he worked both rooms. And I realized he empowered his offensive coordinator. He empowered the defensive coordinator. Yes. And to me, he was able to focus on the smaller things like,
Can't be on that. Can't be down in the weeds.
How do we know Stefanski's not doing that?
In real time.
We see.
Bull, I hope he is. And I'm sure he is involved in the defense. But here's my ultimate point. As the CEO, as the head coach, as the mayor, if you spend all of your time over here,
something going to suffer.
Then this sheep is going to go wild. They're going to leave
the defense played great last year, so
that's last year.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I think the second half of the year they did. I
think you guys are criticizing him for something that most coaches do.
I'm not being overly critical of Stefanski. I'm not. I'm with you and I'm with DeQuell. I think we have the right guy. I think that his infrastructure needs corrected. I think he needs to be the guy, and you know what I thought, and I can't prove this because they would never tell us, but I thought the turnaround in the defense last year, just from the outside, I was assuming that Stefanski's getting more involved in the defense because it was everybody last year after week 8, everybody was fire Joe Woods, get rid of him. We're awful.
So maybe he's doing that now too. I don't know.
Well, but did the results look like they did the second half of the season? Maybe he thought, okay, I've got that ship right. Now I'm going to go back and put all my energy into the offense. I'm just saying, head coaches get fired for bad defense too.
Yes.
So if you want to ignore the defense, go ahead, but do it at your own peril.
But when a head coach walks into your room, you know right now, I need to play better because now the attention is on us. That's all it takes.
But
the head coach to routinely
don't you think Kevin Stefanski's probably done that at some point in these last couple of weeks?
Yeah, but I don't think now he needs to do it more. Whatever to Jay's point, whatever his infrastructure was before, obviously he's calling the plays right now. So it takes up a chunk of your time. Throughout the course of the week, you're explaining the new game plan Wednesday up until Sunday. So you don't have time to go, during meetings, when the defense is meeting, you don't have time to work the room. Now you need to figure out a way. Maybe it may not be this year because you're so heavily involved with the offense. He's going to have to show up and delegate some of those calls, some of that responsibility. That way, to Jay's point, he doesn't get fired. Because listen, if your team doesn't play well, regardless of whether your offense is playing well or your defense is playing poorly, you can get fired regardless if you're not winning games.
Happens all the time.
I worked for 10 years in corporate America in management. I managed 12 to 30 people, give or take what they are, right? And I'll tell you what, when you have those quarterly reviews, you sit in front of them directors, you're accountable for revenue, attendance, promotions, demotions, production. They're going to tell you, I can sit here and say, well, I got 8 of my people. They're in the top 50 in the company. Yeah. They can say, that's great, Garrett, but what about these 4 right here? What's your action plan for these 4? Have you met with them? Did you sit down with them?
But you guys are saying all these things as if you're assuming he's not doing that. I think that doesn't make sense.
The assumption is made because right, and DeQual just hit it. The assumption is made because we know what time it takes to come up with the offense, install the offense, drill the offense in all week. If he's spending 80% of his time on the offense,
again,
he's cheating the defense.
I would seriously doubt that he's spending more time on the offense than any other head coach or than most other head coaches are spending with their side of the ball.
Why would you say that?
Because all the young coaches call
Mikey
the plays.
Has a stat.
They just all do that.
There's a few that stand out to me. Bull, maybe Mike Shanahan, because he has a really good not Mike Shanahan, his son. Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers, because DeMeco Ryans is so good. He can spend most of his time working in the offensive, working with the offensive team. Yeah. So, Bull, every day when you're the signal, there's no way a head coach would say, hey, offensive coordinator, you implement the game plan. I don't have to talk in front of the team every day, and I'll just have a call sheet, and I'll just blindly, call a game. It doesn't work like that. You have to spend all your time with that group.
Right.
I don't see it unless you have full autonomy in the defensive coordinator, that he's a leader. He can motivate these guys. Right now, these guys need a different voice. They need to know if the pressure is on them. They need to be motivated, because right now we're treading on thin ice right now. If these guys don't start playing well, what are we going to hear?
Mike, what did you find?
You need to go, and then ultimately it's going to fall on Kevin Stefanski's shoulders. What are you going to do at that point? That's my biggest question.
What's up, Mike?
So I did a little research, and I should have done this earlier this week or last week, really, when we were talking about it. How many head coaches do you think call plays on offense?
I would say it's fewer than 10.
Anyone else have another guess real quick?
I don't know how many head coaches are actually.
I'm going to say 6.
It doesn't matter how many of the total. It matters how many of the offensive coaches call the plays.
Well, I'm saying how many head coaches call their own offensive plays?
Just call it, Mike.
Probably less than 10.
Let's
say 10.
13.
Out of how many offensive coaches?
Well, there's
32 NFL head coaches and 13
But not all 32 are offensive guys.
No, I'm just saying 13 of the
Mike Tomlin calls the defense, doesn't he?
Yes, but I'm just saying, of the 32 head coaches, how many call
offensive plays? You can't say 13 of 32 when they're not all defensive guys.
No, Mike Tomlin doesn't call the defense.
So Mike Tomlin does not call the defense. He's a defensive-minded, nor did Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy was a defensive-minded head coach. Tony Dungy was – I covered him for 4 years before he got fired. I watched how he operated.
Yeah.
Tony knew that his defensive coordinator was the defensive specialist. Even though Tony was the mastermind behind Cover 2 and did all these great things as a defensive coordinator, at the head coaching level, he used to tell the media all the time, I'm also coaching the offense.
Tony Dungy did is irrelevant. The young coaches are calling their plays.
They're also going for it all the time on
Mike,
fourth down.
how many of the you got to look up how many. It's 13 out of 32 is a meaningless stat. It's 13 out of how many of those coaches come from offensive backgrounds. That's what we need to know.
I will look up the defensive side of things, but
So
I just
here's-
think
so
it's
here's-
worth
here's-
we can name
a
it.
third of the NFL's head coaches are calling their own
Here's
plays.
the
I'll
contradiction.
add the defensive ones in, so
Here's
probably
the-
half the NFL coaches are
Probably more than half of the offensive
But watch
coaches.
it. But the way football works is this.
You're not going to have a defensive
You got to think about this. Kevin
Let's see if those teams are good at all.
Stefanski played defense in college. Now he's an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that happens a lot, by the
He's
way.
been an offensive coach for a decade.
That happens a lot.
But what I'm saying to you,
Yeah.
Bull, is don't you think that those people that cover defenses for a living know what the offense is running? They have offensive
Okay,
minds too.
well, then let me ask you this. What do you guys want? Do you want him to stop calling plays?
Yeah,
Why? He's doing a great job.
Since you asked the question,
You need to get a better
But at the peril of our defense
I'm
stinking.
going to give you the answer to that. You ask what we want, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I want you to be the CEO of the team.
Yeah.
I want you to
Right.
trust your people, right? And if you
What
don't
does that
have-
mean, though?
listen,
Don't talk in generalities.
Let me
Say
tell-
what you really mean. He is the
here,
CEO
let me
of
tell
the
you- let me
team,
tell you something.
and he
Here,
gets blamed
here.
for the defense
I'm gonna
struggling.
give it to you.
When he was calling
should.
plays last
He
year
should.
and the defense
Here.
was playing well, nobody said he had to be the
Here, you
CEO
want
of
me
the
to talk
team.
to me? Are you
Go
gonna- are
ahead,
you
go
gonna talk to
ahead.
me? All right,
There were
so
people
here's
saying
the
he
story.
did.
The CEO of the team
Yeah.
is the person that organizes everything. I don't need you to be
But he
down.
is doing that.
Here you go. You gonna let me
All right, go
finish?
ahead.
All
Jay, well, I got the answer to your question, by the way.
So you, as the CEO, hold on, Mike. As the CEO, hold on, Mike.
Yeah.
And the CEO, you cannot be down in the weeds in one single room. You got to be across the board. You do. You have to trust your people and empower them. And if you find out that one of your people can't do the job, they got to go.
To your point,
they
Brad,
have
let me
to
ask
go.
you this, Bull. What's
Yeah.
more important, offense or defense?
Offense.
See, that's
Well,
the problem.
That
That's
is the problem. That is
That's the problem.
The
It's
correct
everything. That's
answer
the
is
problem.
the correct answer is
It's obvious.
both. They're equally.
No,
They're
offense
equally
is more
important.
important in this NFL.
So if you're number 1 in offense but number
Yeah.
32 in defense, how's that going to
You're
play
more
out?
likely going to be a better team as number 1 on offense and number 32 on defense than you will be 32 on defense or one on defense and 32
You ever
on
heard-
offense.
Well, you say what to that?
Defense win championships.
No,
Yeah, I don't
not,
agree
not
with that.
anymore.
I agree with
Defense
that.
does
I'm a
not win
defensive guy.
championships.
So defense travels. Defense can play in any
Yeah,
weather.
defense wins
You know,
championships.
rain,
The
weather affects
Defense wins
offenses.
Defense don't win
You know, for
championships
years,
anymore.
Peyton
Yes, it
Manning
does. You just saw
was
Aaron
great
Donald win one.
indoors.
Aaron Donald
You get him
won.
outdoors.
He
He
did
made
one
one play.
Oh, he did one
No,
play.
but in time historically, and I know the game has changed.
Not recently.
But historically, and I don't think
wins
anybody's going to argue with this, defense wins championships.
Not anymore.
There's
Defense-
a reason that they
defense
say
wins
that.
Mike, give us the number. Give us the number.
4 NFL coaches call their own defensive plays. Mike Tomlin does not call his own.
How many?
No, I knew Mike didn't.
So that's 17. That's more than half the league.
And by the way, I think it's tricky because I know there are some head coaches that, because they have veto power, you might say that they call their own plays. Like Andy Reid, if he wants, and they're down at the goal
Andy
line.
Reid does call the plays.
Andy Reid can easily
Andy
overrule
Reid calls
anything
the
he
plays.
wants.
The article I just read says Andy Reid calls 75% of the
Of course
plays.
he calls the plays.
He doesn't call every play ball.
Here's the
Maybe
thing.
Stefanski
Out of those
doesn't call every
offensive
play.
coordinators,
And the
how many
don't know
teams
that.
are actually
Is he
winning
counted in the
teams?
13?
The Quill.
Belichick, he's one of the 4 defensive coaches.
No. Is he one of the 13
Andy Reid,
that you
yes.
counted as calling?
Yes.
Because here's what I consider calling plays. You're calling everything.
Well, how
That's
do you
your
know?
job.
Right,
That's your
same.
job.
Andy Reid calls the
DeQuell,
plays.
am I wrong?
Stefanski calls the plays.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, I
DeQuell?
agree with you, Jay. I agree with you, Jay.
The Quill,
And out of
explain to the group why defense travels and wins championships. Please tell them why.
Oh, but here's the thing. The game, when you're playing for years, Peyton Manning, right? I'll give you that example. Indoors, he was awesome. When he had to travel to go to New England and play outdoors, that ball is different to catch and throw. And guess what? The game shrinks, and it makes it an easier game for a defense.
Slows down,
and
too.
listen, pass rush travels, really great run defense travels. I get it. The league is set up to pass the ball down the field.
Yeah,
I
it sells-
get it.
it sells
Patrick
CBS.
Mahomes, we've been enamored with that, but I'm gonna always stick to a top 10 defense. And
Even
when
if you
have a
won the last one in Tampa Bay,
Right.
the defense
Without
was great.
Tom Brady, the Patriots have
Right,
0
defense is great.
championships. 0.
Wait, what?
Patriots have 0 championships without Tom Brady. 0.
Oh my God, DeQuell, please educate
Who
the
would-
man. Early
I
on,
wish I was in studio right now.
that's insane.
If they didn't have Tom Brady, they would have won a championship without Tom Brady.
Look at their first couple of championships
Yeah,
with Tom
yeah.
Brady. Brady was just a guy. He was
No,
just
he
a guy.
wasn't.
Go look
Right.
at his
In the
numbers.
rookie
Yes, he
year.
was. Yes, he was.
DeQuell, it was Bill Belichick's defense that was keeping them in game after game after game. Their defense was fantastic.
Bull, you can name more guys defensively on those teams or those early championships than you can offensively.
You can.
I mean, that should tell you,
But
that
it's the
should
court-
answer
you
your
win.
question right there.
DeQuell, most of the teams that have won championships in the last 10, 15 years have won with great core. You can't win without a great quarterback anymore.
No, I agree. I don't
Can't.
disagree with that. That's fair. I
That's
agree
part
with
of
that.
the formula, but you damn well better have a great defense.
I think you don't have to have a great defense.
But hold on.
Nobody has a great defense. There is no great defense
I saw the greatest team offensively on the face of the earth, and Tom Brady and Randy Moss. And I watched the Giants
They didn't
come
win
down.
it.
Oh my God, they lost one game the whole year.
It's
G.
the-
Come on, but they were in the
McNuggets,
Super Bowl.
please
I
look
watched
up.
the Giants lock them down.
They didn't lock them
Three-
down. Come on, they didn't lock
Really?
them down.
McNuggets,
They didn't win that-
please
they
look
won
up
on-
the
they
number
won on
one
a freak
offense.
play.
These dudes was getting 50 touchdowns.
I hear you, but they lost one game the whole year. That's hardly a
How many
example.
How many times has the number one offense won a Super Bowl? McNuggets, look that up.
I'm looking it up, and we're going to get into
the comparisons
next.
from years ago and now are different. Yes, defense used to win championships, not anymore.
The Bucks when they won 2 years ago with Tom Brady, that defense was absolutely
Yeah, but if they didn't have Tom Brady, they wouldn't have won.
Yes,
And
you're right.
when
The
Patrick
year before,
Mahomes
that
won
same
his
team sucked with that
Super Bowl.
defense. They
Go
sucked
ahead.
with Jameis Winston.
You're right, DeQuell. That Chiefs defense.
When Patrick Mahomes won his Super Bowl, his defense played lights out.
That's right. You need
DeQuell,
can't just discount it.
Are they in the Super Bowl without Mahomes?
Oh, no.
Bull,
You need a
you're
quarterback.
proving my
but
point.
he doesn't
and
win it
Bull's
without
What?
great
You're
play of that
proving my
defense.
point. I said what's more important. You said offense, and the
Yes.
right answer is
It's
both.
You got
The right answer
you
is
gotta have
both.
you gotta have all
All
of it.
these.
The quarterback is the most important thing.
How'd Deshaun Watson do? Great quarterback. How'd he do?
Facts.
Okay.
What? He went to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years.
How'd he do in the playoffs?
Wait, Jay, I have a stat, and we're going to move to headlines.
Yeah.
This stat puts this in perfect context. There have been 7 times in Super Bowl history where the number one offense has played the number one defense. In those 7 games, the defense is 6-1.
Absolutely.
It's an irrelevant stat. I'm talking. How many
But
times in
it's
the last 10
important.
years?
It was a fact.
Football.
No. DeQuell, I'm saying it's
Football,
changed in the
man.
last
He's never going to
decade.
admit that it's not that he's not right. So let's just move on.
That's
'Cause you're
ridiculous.
never-
I admit when I'm wrong all the time,
Bull,
Jay.
that
I
is
said you guys unclog your freaking ears. I've said it's
We're
changed
begging
in the
you to
last
do that.
decade.
We're begging you
I
to do
said,
that. So
who
what-
cares what happened 30
What
years
we're
ago?
saying, Bull, is that
What's
7
more
times-
important, a great defense or a great quarterback? What's more important right now in the NFL?
A great defense.
Both.
And
You
both,
can't
right,
get off the
right.
fence. You got to have one.
No, you don't.
You think
No,
First,
you
taking a
can't.
quarterback.
First of all, here's the
Go ahead.
problem. First,
But
it's
history
obvious
proves
it's
you
the
wrong.
quarterback.
I thought we
It's
was on the
obvious it's the
headline.
quarterback.
History proves you wrong.
The defense is it's hard, and it's harder to keep. First of all, there are no great defenses. Who's got a great defense? Nobody.
Great is relative. Great would be the number one ranked defense. And 7 times in NFL history, the best offense has played the best
All
defense.
right, you guys are not
and
listening.
the best defense won 6 times.
I'm saying I'm not talking about history. Defense used to matter more than it does now.
No, I agree with
That's
that.
all I'm saying.
I understand that it's changed. I
Yeah.
understand that the passing is different. I understand the rules are different. But in football, there are fundamentals that never change. It's about if you catch the ball, can I tackle you? Can I not have penalties? Can I execute? Do I get turnovers? Right. Those are universal
Okay,
laws.
sure, G. But right now, would you rather have Patrick Mahomes and an average defense, or a great defense and a middle-of-the-road quarterback?
But what I'm saying to you is
no, I'm asking you one or the other. If you had to choose.
I would take a quarterback.
Of course.
But here's the thing: if you have the quarterback with nothing else, you're not going to win either.
I agree. You can't have nothing else.
Won't win with an average defense and the best quarterback.
Yes, you will.
You won't.
The Chiefs didn't have a great quarterback that year. They played well in the Super
Wait a
Bowl.
minute,
They
the
didn't have a
Chiefs
great defense.
The Chiefs defense when Mahomes won the Super
They
Bowl,
played
great.
well in that Super Bowl.
they played well
very
in the playoffs.
But they
In the
weren't a
playoffs.
great defense the whole year. They weren't ranked near the top.
But
You have-
they
You only have to hit
Go
your
ahead,
stride
Paul.
at the right time.
Go ahead.
gotta-
I-
right.
Paul's getting as frustrated
All
as
it
we
takes
are.
is once you get into the postseason,
Yes.
how well
Yeah.
do you play? You look at the great Peyton Manning
did the
teams
same
that
thing.
won. What happened during that playoff run, ultimately winning them a Super Bowl? The defense showed up. I can't pick one or the other. You can't, listen, I'll say this. Well, in the last probably 10 years, the rules have changed so much so the
Yes.
offense can have so much of an advantage.
Exactly.
And you still can't equate to the number one offense just automatically, you're going to win a Super Bowl if you have a number one offense. It just doesn't work because
No, but
you need both. I don't know
my
how else
point
to-
is, DeQuell, that when you had those great defensive teams, like you think about going way
Yeah.
back to the '85
Right.
Bears, those great Giant teams, those great Raven teams, right? I don't think you can have because of the salary cap and the rules, I don't think you're going to have defenses like that ever again. The best defenses in the NFL now are not anywhere close to what those defenses were and can't make as big a factor. That's how I see it. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I agree with that point, but let's be fair.
Yeah.
The rules have changed so much. You can't hit guys across the middle.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
The passing, the roughing the passer calls. They're making it almost impossible. They're making it
Yes.
very difficult for you to
So
come out and be a
down across the
dominant,
field.
Jay, take it to
inferior
headlines.
defense. So I get what you're saying. It's just this conversation could take 3 days.
I don't even know how we got down this road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either.
Let's just do headlines. Nobody's going to change
Before
their
we
mind.
go,
proved that.
before
Let's
we
just do
move on,
headlines.
does anybody want Stefanski? You guys want Stefanski to give up the play calling?
I don't care what's going on with the offense. He needs to fix the defense.
Here's
That's
what I
all care
want.
about.
He
Yeah.
needs to be
Well,
less involved with the offense and way more involved with the defense. That's what I want.
All right. But we've proven that more than half the head coaches call plays. That's a fact.
All right,
No,
so
13 of 32.
17 of 32 call plays.
No.
Yeah, but
that's
we
not
don't
true.
know.
Call plays either on offense or defense. Yes, that's what Mike said. 17.
All right.
Well, yeah, offense or defense. We were talking about that. We're talking about offense. 13 of the 32 coaches call their own
And
plays.
here's the thing. I don't care.
That's
Next
ridiculous
topic.
comparison.
Headline.
It's a fact.
Headline.
It's a
Gotta get
fact.
the headlines.
More than half the teams call their
Go to
plays.
headlines.
That's
we
a
got to
fact.
get the headlines.
Go to headlines.
DeQuell
That's a
was
fact.
gracious enough to send us a headline today. DeQuell,
I'm dropping bars with my headline.
we tweaked it up
Oh,
a little
good.
bit to fit, but let's take DeQuell's headline. I like where he went with this. DeQuell, if you'd like to read it.
Browns deflate Patriot spirit. I love it. Browns break Belichick curse.
I
had
see
to-
what you did with deflate.
Yeah. For people
That's
who
slick,
know,
dude.
I had
That's
to get some get back.
That's a big syringe
No, that's
he got.
that's really good.
That's a big needle.
I miss Tom.
Hey,
That-
Oh,
that's
yeah.
That's
really
because
I
the
like
great
what you
Bill
guys
Belichick's
did
a
last
mediocre coach without Tom. There you go.
And if
He
you
is,
guys
he's
remember,
500.
DeQuell did catch the Deflategate football, so even
That's
a little more
right,
relevant.
He should have
here.
got that big bag. for
That's
that.
very appropriate.
When you
between
caught it,
being
DeQuell, did you say immediately something's wrong with this football?
No, I had no idea.
You
I had
can't
no
tell.
idea.
You
It
can't tell.
was the equipment guys. They probably had more idea than I did.
Yeah.
It was so freaking cold. Listen. I just wanted the ball to put it in front of my mantle, and so I can sell it when he goes in the Hall of Fame for
Yeah,
$1 million
right.
bucks.
Yeah.
But
Where
Yeah.
is it? Is it there in the room with you?
no, I don't have it.
He never got
I
it.
do not have it.
Because the NFL took it.
The NFL investigated it. They investigated everyone around the circumstance except for me. They never called me, never reached out to my agents.
you should
Unbelievable.
call back, tell him, get your ball back. Give
Yeah,
my ball
well,
back.
Oh, Brad, believe me, I've tried. I've had private investigators. I've had my agents use their resources. Nothing.
And
Goodell's
no one told me
Goodell's
anything.
going to have a family member sell it on
and
eBay.
DeQuell, when you
20
call
years.
back,
Oh, yeah.
when
Oh, yeah.
DeQuell called back on the mobile, they were like, hello? Hello? I can't hear you. Static.
Hey, dog, you're breaking up, dog. You're
Hey, that's
breaking
a
up.
great
Breaking
headline.
up over here.
Very good. Very
Well,
good.
thanks, man. We will see you in Cleveland tomorrow.
See you, DeQuell.
All righty.
All right, bro.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
brother. I hope he's right.
Yeah.
I hope he's right with the right team winning anyhow.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Jay, you're up next.
All right, as you guys know, I'm selling everything Browns until I have a reason to buy.
Right.
Yep.
And with that in mind, I'm going the other way. My headline is pretty, it's gut-wrenching if it happens. Losses piling up, Belichick out-schemes Browns.
Amen.
Jay texted me in all lowercase letters, too, and I felt the pain in the text.
You know what? I laughed when you replied to that because normally I go all uppercase for my headline and then proper case usage for the subhead. I'm just like, this sucks.
This is one. This is pivotal. I'm and people say hyperbole. Listen, if they lose this game, it's done. It's finished. Because it's all about the standard and the bar. Like you said, it don't matter what. I never judge your team or what you're doing based on what somebody else do. I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, the rest of the division is this, and that. That don't have nothing to do with me. Because I'm looking at the style of play and I'm asking myself, can this, what I see on the field, can that win a championship? And if the answer is no, then I don't care if John and Jane and Tammy or whoever is doing it, that's not going to work for me because I know to get to wherever you want to go, you got to play a certain style of football. You got to look a certain way. You got to capitalize a certain way. And right now, they don't do any of that.
Here's the only question, we'll get to your headline. The only question for us, I think, for a coach is this. Are you getting the most out of your personnel?
No.
So if Stefanski was to look in the mirror and ask me, am I getting the most out of his personnel?
That's a definitive no.
What would he say?
He'd have to say no.
Brad, he's a smart guy. He has. You're
So if
right.
you
He
say-
knows what we see.
So if you say no,
you
where
have to ask yourself why not.
where are the adjustments?
Right.
Because I'm not getting the most out of my people.
Have you seen any
Nope.
turns of the screwdriver? Because
I've seen none.
I thought we would start to see a little bit more blitz or a little bit more aggressive
I've seen none.
defense.
Nothing.
It's like, the definition of insanity. All that being said, this is what I keep having to remind myself this, and this is Bull's message. They're 2 plays from being 4-1.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that good teams make those plays, bad teams don't. But if they get a win Sunday, and they're certainly capable of doing that, if they can finally roll out a full 60 minutes from both sides, we're in great shape. We're at 3-3. We're about on par to what everybody thought we would do, and that's go 6-5 without Deshaun Watson. And then you've got a fighting chance.
Yeah.
So I know it seems gloom and doom, and I'm with you. If they lose, I don't know where you get 4 wins from the next 5 games. I don't see how that happens. But if they win, we all have to come off the ledge because it's not nearly as dire as we think.
If they win the right way. Because what I look at is, in this game, I look at it from just sheer standpoint. The Browns have everybody healthy, right?
Well, I mean, Walker's out,
part.
and that was a huge injury.
But
we relied heavily on him.
If you tell me that you're playing a quarterback who doesn't have any experience really,
right?
You're playing a team who doesn't have any name brand receivers.
Okay.
You're playing a defense.
And by the way, that was Mac Jones last year when he put up 40 on us.
And he put 40 on us, right? Now, if you telling me they put, and that's another thing. People say, well, lights out last year. No, they got 40 with a rookie quarterback. I'm sorry, that's not lights out. Then you come back this year, it's a rookie quarterback. And you lose again, and you have everybody.
Then it's time to panic. I'll agree with you.
Let me ask you, because I just thought about something when you just said it. We have all these players. We have a number of players. I won't say all these players. A number of players that we had high expectations for, right? Because they were either high draft choice, not high draft, just highly enough draft choices.
Or guys that we had seen before. Right. We knew they were good.
Which one is performing?
Nick Chubb.
That's the only one.
That's the only
one guy. He's performing, and I feel like he's being underutilized.
And I think Njoku's
How is he being underutilized? How is Nick Chubb being underutilized?
Because he could be doing more. Because we don't give enough opportunities to do more.
He's second in the league in carries. He's second in the league in fourth quarter carries.
Why isn't he overwhelmingly first? Because he's the overwhelmingly best running back.
He can be
the only guy who's behind is Saquon Barkley, who's also been great.
And I'm saying it's not Nick Chubb's fault. It's the fault because they're not using him more. That's it. But go to your other players.
It's silly.
Miles is underperforming, right?
Without question.
Denzel's underperforming.
Without question.
Schwartz is nowhere to be seen.
Right.
David Bell's on a milk carton, right? Keep going down the line.
Every starter
at some point.
There's no starters on offense that are underperforming.
At some point, the person who's in charge of developing the players has to be looked at.
Name a starter on offense that's underperforming.
But what we saying about
Bell, Schwartz.
They're not starters.
What we saying about the starters?
Like I said, name a starter on offense. That's
I'll go back to corporate America.
Yeah.
When you got A players, you're gonna have A players, B players, and C players.
I get it. I know you guys are analyzing the bench players on every other team.
But
no, we're not talking about
anybody. Wait, hold on. Can somebody answer my question? Name a player on the Browns starting offense that's underachieving.
What I'm telling you is nobody.
Nobody, but that's irrelevant.
That's not what I'm talking about.
That's not irrelevant.
You're going to starters.
If a great offense is so important, nobody on our offense is underperforming, yet we're 2-3.
Because the defense has been awful.
That's why they're just as important as the offense.
What I'm saying to you is your mark as a coach is not whether your A players play well. It's are you developing B and C players?
Those are the ones that make the team.
Those are the ones that make your team great. Everybody got A players.
No, not everybody.
Every team in the NFL has A players.
They do.
Well, is David Njoku an A player? What makes you an A player?
Well, if you're a top 5 position,
he's a first round pick.
Well, you get down in the weeds. Not in the weeds. It's the B and C players that make the team.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's playing well. He's a B player. At best.
But you talk about offense still.
Yeah, but I mean, what are we arguing then? I'm acknowledging the defense isn't playing well.
All I said, because you're right. The offense, we're not bitching about the offense.
But you are. You're saying Nick Chubb's not getting enough touches. Nick Chubb's getting plenty of touches.
We said in general there have been games where he needed to get more. Games we lost where he was dominating, where we needed to see him more, particularly when the game was on the line, that we didn't see him. That's a fair.
He is second in the league in fourth quarter touches.
Would you say that they used him enough late in the game of the Jets loss and the Falcons loss and last week's loss? Did they use him enough in the fourth quarter? That's what we're saying.
I mean,
but Bull, you're making our point. Our point. You're making it.
But you guys are just assuming that he's not doing anything with the defense, and you don't know that.
Bull, here's what we know.
Okay.
They're not performing.
Yes.
And we know this. He's the head coach, and as the head coach.
So what do you want to happen? You want? Do we want him to be fired?
No.
No.
What do you want him to do?
I want the defense to. I want him to start paying more attention to the defense.
I want him.
Okay, but the other 16 coaches in the league, including most of the best coaches, most of the best offensive coaches in the league call plays. Andy Reid calls plays. Sean McVay calls plays. Sean
Andy
Payton
Reid calls 75% of his
Jay,
plays.
come on now.
Kevin Stefanski is calling 100%.
How do you know he calls 75%? And how do you know Kevin Stefanski calls 100%?
Why are we going back up this road?
And we got two super
Come on,
chats.
Let's just move it up.
It does bring us. It brings us back to this conversation. There's going to be no comment after this.
You guys are just going to roll your eyes at me all day because I disagree. So go ahead. Go ahead.
You're right.
Charles T. from Germany.
I'm not being dismissive of you guys. You guys are doing the same to me, but all right, go ahead.
Everybody.
Let's go.
Shush.
Go
We
ahead.
got a super chat from Germany. This is from Charles T. When we're done, G, we're going right to your headline. We're taking it full. I know you forgot what you sent, so we're going to take it full. We're going to go right to your headline. We are not going to discuss
That's
this
the way it
comment
works
because
sometimes.
I know it's going to get us right back to where we were. Asking Stefanski, who's an offensive coach, to cut back on what he is good at to focus on the defense, something he has little experience in, is like asking a Jiffy Lube accountant to oversee oil changes. He has to trust his DC. Great show, guys. Love you from Germany.
Great.
G. Bush, let's take your
Awesome.
headline.
What do you got?
Take G. Bush's headline. This was a good one, G. Yeah, he's like, I remember this now.
Instant impact.
Yeah, you crazy.
Browns win 23-7. Deion Jones and the Browns D dominate the Pats. Now, the reason I look at it like this is,
Man, I hope that's true.
I look at it like this. If he can get people lined up, if he can stop the run if you can get them behind 14 points, now you got a rookie quarterback that has to throw the football and is going to have an opportunity for your defensive lineman to get upfield and get sacks, and then that's when the snowball happens. You run the ball, you get the lead, and you do your thing. I think we ain't the only ones that understand that the Browns defense lacks a lot to be desired. I think that you could give them credit for not waiting to next year to address something, right? Because they at the end of the game, they saw what we saw.
Well, the building would be burned down had they waited till next year.
What
they did is call in a big fire department.
Yeah, like come on in, we got to get this. And I hope the fire department's still open because I'm looking for some D tackles too. If you can go ahead, like if y'all got money like that, picks. So hopefully Deion Jones can bring it now. Like DeQuell said, his skill set is mainly pass. His coverage grades are really good. According to PFF, he's middle of the road when it comes to stopping the run. But look,
It's better than what we have now.
Kevin Stefanski said he's wearing the green dot today, which means we don't have to see Phillips anymore because that was. Whew. We'll see if they can do it, but I like the move, and hopefully that shores up the defense and
Can you
maybe gives them a
imagine if
jump
one
start.
guy comes in, and you said he's got to get everybody in a position, and I know he's played in this defense, and he doesn't know the personnel in this defense. Can you imagine if, like that, there is a complete about face and this defense suddenly looks like it did last year with one guy who's been on the team for 3 days?
Yeah, because sometimes you need somebody, you need a fresh set of eyes on something.
Maybe.
Because when sometimes people come from a different perspective, they come in and they look at you and say, dude, we all right. Just to play ball.
Just listen, pay attention.
Just play
I hope
ball.
you're right, brother. I hope you win the headline contest.
Brad's headline is really good, though. Brad, this is your best one yet by far. Let's take it.
Guys have pressure on them. The Browns host.
Oh, that's a winner. It's over.
D party.
It's over.
Because the game is won with what? Championship is won with what? D. So we got to correct
that's
the
creative,
D.
though.
I like
the
that.
Boston D party.
D party.
I like that.
You guys are killing the Browns, and you're both picking them to win.
I'm always picking them to win. I'm a homer. Yes, I can. I'm a homer. I'm going to go with them every time. I didn't roll with them this long.
And if the defense plays well, these guys are all going to come in and say, Kevin Stefanski must have gotten involved
let
this
me tell you
week.
here.
Listen, I hope he does.
Kevin is getting remunerated enough with money to do the job.
Yes.
So you sit at the top of the ticket, you get to eat.
Yeah,
I sit at the top of the ticket, I get to eat. That's how it works.
It's not outside the realm of possibility that at the turning point of last year's defense that Kevin got more involved. As a head coach, you're whack-a-mole,
It's
right?
also possible he didn't get any more involved and
It
they
is
just
possible.
turned it around.
But
We don't know.
I'm saying I think it's likely that as the head coach, if you're over here and what's going on behind your back isn't good, eventually you got to turn around and see what's going on behind your back.
Let me tell you something.
I hope he did get more involved last year, and I hope he does this
The
year.
game ends at, what time did the game end last week? 4:30?
4:15.
4:15.
Yeah.
At 6:15, they was acquiring a problem.
Hello, Atlanta.
There's a problem.
Stefanski was on that phone like,
There's a
hey, Barry.
problem.
Let's see Bulls headline.
You
You pick him to
Tyvis is
win?
next. Do Tyvis is before mine.
All right, well,
No?
I think it's skip one. It's called production headline in the rundown, Steve.
Yeah.
This is the one Tyvis sent
Yeah.
that we
He's
are
not
taking
here.
because Tyvis couldn't join us today. He said, checkmate, Cleveland attitude and physicality makes Pats salute. Didn't get an explanation from Tyvis, so just take that as
I don't even know what the hell that means.
however Tyvis wants to take that.
He should have put Giannis on there too.
Oh, you stupid.
Giannis.
You stupid.
Checkmate.
Did you see what Giannis did to Ben Simmons in that preseason game?
No,
the other
what
day?
Yes.
He was just kicked. It should have been an offensive foul.
What'd
He
he
just
do?
like ran him over.
I don't know why it wasn't.
Oh my God.
Ben Simmons, boy.
So he's picking the Browns to win.
I was
Yeah, he
think.
picks the Browns. He said he'll pick the Browns every week.
that
of the
was
year.
that was like
Giannis is
did
a great
already?
The
train.
Browns. Yeah.
See,
He said
I
he can't
think
pick
that's-
against his boys.
That's nonsense.
All
I
right.
don't
Doesn't
think
make
they're
any
going to
sense.
win, then
Come
you
on.
pick against them.
Yeah.
And then
It's
here's
not who you
Bulls.
want
Let's
to
go
win,
to
it's who
let's
you
go to
pick still.
Bulls. Let's see
Go
my
to
man
mine.
Bulls.
Nostra Bulls.
Oh,
No Baker jersey needed.
you crazy. You crazy.
It's in the trash. Good job, Anthony,
Okay.
on the graphic.
okay.
Well done.
Hey, that's the only reason he won because of the graphic.
Brad wasn't here
What happened?
on Tuesday when I said that if I'm guaranteeing the Browns win this game, and
He's
if they
saying bet
don't,
the house.
He
I
got
said
everything.
bet the house on it, and if they don't, I'm going to buy a Baker's Carolina Panthers jersey.
Oh, I thought you
And
were
wear it on the
Hey,
show.
wear it.
And if I can find one my size, I'll wear it. Otherwise, I'll just drape it over my
Seriously?
shoulder.
Well, I didn't.
I'm going to do it. But they're not going to need it because they're going to win.
I believe you.
I think they
Wait,
win.
about that.
I'm the only guy that's picking the Patriots?
I haven't
I'm
gotten
surprised
the answers
these
from
guys did.
everybody.
I'm a homer.
I mean,
But so far, Jay, you are the only one of the people I've heard responses from.
I mean, if they lose to this
Come on.
team, that's like, I'm not saying that they would fire him or anything, but somebody got to go.
I would fire
Pick somebody.
If the defense gets crushed again like it did last week. I'm firing Joe Woods.
Right.
100%.
Everybody else?
Bye.
100.
Bye. He
He's
got to
gone.
go.
Brad?
He would have been gone.
I didn't like him. I didn't like him in
would've already
2019.
I've been
Let
more
me ask you guys
patient
a
with
question
him than
real quick
most.
about that. So Deion Jones got traded. I think the news came down at like 6:54. I'll confirm
I
that.
told you,
Right before
6:15 they
7
was on the
o'clock.
It was a couple hours.
6:15
Will
on the
Joe
phone.
Woods last as long if they get blown out, especially defense doesn't look good, till 6:54? What happens first, the firing or the Deion trade timeline?
I doubt they'll fire
No,
him. I would.
even if
but
they make the decision to fire him, they're not going to do it on Sunday night.
No, they ain't.
I think that there's a level of disrespect that goes along
Yeah,
with
you-
that.
it's some
I know
professionalism
Herm Edwards
required.
got fired on the
That
field
was
after
ridiculous.
a game.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
USC left Lane Kiffin on the tarmac that one time.
Yeah, I'm just not. There's a
Bush league.
decorum. There's a
It's
way to
Bush league.
class to run. You know, someone's every time we and I'm guilty of this too. I'm not pointing fingers. We talk about fire him, get rid of him, move on so callously. It's someone's life. It's someone's life.
I
Joe Woods isn't trying to suck.
I think what it is, it comes from the fact that we all know, like, if you're a coach, you don't ever get fired. Like, you get
Yeah,
another
they're
job.
getting paid.
Yeah, and they're getting paid. I
Yeah,
understand. And they make a lot of money. I
yeah.
understand that. But it's still, nobody goes into the office saying, I hope I get let go today.
I hear you, but it's our
It's hard.
job. It's our job to, if we
It
think
is.
somebody should be fired, we should
look,
say
I
it.
said
The
I'm
bottom
guilty of that,
line,
too.
the bottom line is, because you're right. The bottom line here is, we're all big boys in this profession. If I don't produce, they cut me. If you don't win, they cut you. Right? This is what they do.
We got
So
it.
I like. He know the deal. I know the deal when I sign a contract. That's how it works.
If your
Right?
ratings is trash,
So my thing is this.
You get a 1-year deal.
My
What
question is this.
Yeah.
My question
Not
is this.
even. You might get 3 months.
I like in
So
the
you-
NFL, they
if you-
say,
if you-
we're all week to week.
We-
If you
right?
let Joe Woods go, right? If you let Joe Woods go, and the same saga continues, where's the Heat going to Stefanski?
Oh, that's next year.
Is
No.
that next year?
Oh, that's no.
No, I think it's already there. I mean, I'm not saying his seat is hot, but he's the CEO. Brad, if one of your department heads
Oh yeah, they coming for me.
the voters aren't going to vote the department
They not
head out
gonna
of
get
office.
them.
They're going to vote you out of office.
I told you.
And guess
That's
what the-
why it's
and guess-
important
and
that you
and
pay
guess what
attention
the
to
first thing I
everything.
tell my people: if the Heat going, they coming for me,
Yes.
right?
That's right.
But I'm not. But I tell them, I'm not running this ship down there. You are.
Right.
So guess who I'm coming to?
Fix it.
Coming to you.
Fix it.
I told you.
We got to get to some
ahead.
internet score predictions real quick before we talk Guardians.
Okay.
And close out the show. Whenever we and checkmate, by the way, I'm thinking he's playing off Belichick checkmate. I think
Okay.
that's what he's going with.
That's a stretch.
You can't have cliff notes with your title,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, it should have been spelled the way he spells the last part of his name.
Either way, it's time to talk to the internet, and that's always brought to us by
He was good
PCC
in theory.
Airfoils. Are you looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wycliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more.
No singing for me today. I'm not in the mood. Not in the mood to sing.
He's mad at everyone.
I'm mad right now. I'm calming down, but I'm a little mad.
Well, on every Friday.
Bull, we still love you,
I
buddy.
love you guys too.
And none of this is personal.
None of it's personal.
Hey, we haven't
The first
had
time I've really gotten mad.
we haven't got a
And,
real we ain't got a real argument in a long time. The
Yeah.
first argument they had to sit us all down. Yeah,
I know, but I wasn't mad that day. This is the first time I've gotten really mad.
We had an
Bull's mad.
intervention.
I got really mad.
I was looking at him like, what you talking
He's
about?
angry Bull today.
I'm angry. I'm calming down though.
But Bull,
I get
again,
over it.
we reiterate, none of this is personal. We get a little high strung, but here's the important thing.
Yeah.
You got to let it go.
It's all good. I'm letting it go.
And we're family, and
That's
we
true.
all probably raised our voices more than
and
we
bleep
should.
you guys.
But we still love you.
If your boy,
We still love you.
your voice is fancy, we'll be right. We'll be all right.
He wasn't even really mad in that
No,
picture.
no,
He was
no.
faking it.
I was fake
Fake
mad.
mad right now. That's what mad looks like.
All right, we asked the internet like we do every Friday for score predictions for
Yes.
Sunday's game. If they get it right, we send them a T-shirt.
Did anybody
It's
pick the
pretty
Patriots?
Simple as that. No. Yes, we actually had. It wasn't a full split, but it was a relatively. It was more split than our panel.
Okay.
And let's see some answers here. So, like we said, the question, take tag word full, is predict the score perfectly. We'll send you some swag. Chris says 34-17 Browns. Next.
No,
Lance Gogler 24-21 Browns.
maybe.
Yeah, that's
Somebody always picks 24-21.
17-16 Browns with a nice little dance.
I love
Appreciate
that.
the gift.
I love that. That's a great GIF, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
Purple Noodles on Jay's team here.
Purple Noodles.
17-13 Patriots.
Oh.
I appreciated the handle.
Yeah.
Man.
Zach Zevachik, 24-20 Patriots.
Those
And
are
last
all
but
in
not
there.
least, Jesse, 28-24
Oh,
Browns.
That was an
God,
awesome
that was
moment.
one of my favorite shove runs ever.
You're dead.
That's
was a
a
defensive
large-ass
lineman.
man that he shoved on. Yeah.
His soul left his body right about there.
I could just watch that over and over.
And that's why.
You think you got me?
Workhorse.
No.
Hey, that's why he get 40 carries.
Right.
Hey, do you like that stiff arm or the one against the
That's
Steelers?
why.
better?
Steelers one was better because it was against the Steelers.
Yeah,
but
that's
that
right.
one, just for pure physicality and the size of the defender.
That move in wrestling is called the 5-finger discount. Give me that.
Watch just.
All right, let's talk a little Guardians here. We got.
Yes.
Wait, we didn't make our
27
predictions though. We didn't make our predictions.
Oh, you want to give a score
Did
prediction?
we ever do that?
No, we normally don't.
don't?
Go
Well,
ahead.
you do with your headlines, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't give specific.
I got the
with
Browns
number.
winning 27-23 in this game.
Okay.
I got
But
it.
you guys don't have to give.
I got it 24-7.
24-7.
Yeah, you had yours in your headline, I think.
He had
Yeah.
23-7.
23-7.
Gee, you've been killing this defense. You think they're gonna hold them to 7 points?
here.
Well, they got one new player.
I'm gonna give you the best answer. I'm gonna give you
Man.
the best answer. I don't care as long as we win by
Well,
one.
that's fair.
Well, that would be my answer,
That's
too.
my answer. That's where I
Unfortunately,
am.
I don't think that's going to
I
happen.
can't take it no
It's going to be
more.
decided on the 2-minute warning once
Yeah,
again.
I can't taste.
And it's
Make
going to
sure
be
you're watching.
a late Patriots touchdown, 24-21.
We have Guardians post game this afternoon.
Yeah.
We have
Oh,
Guardians
yes.
post game tomorrow night.
Yep.
We have
Browns.
Browns post game Sunday afternoon. Hopefully Guardians post
Wait,
game
what
Sunday
are you
night.
guys going to do if the Browns and the
Browns.
Guardians?
Just the
No,
Browns.
Guardians
Just
is
the
7
Browns.
o'clock.
Just the Browns.
Oh, it is 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock
Yeah.
Saturday, too. That's
Well,
right.
let me tell you. For those who don't catch the post game show with you guys, you're missing a treat. I mean,
Oh, yeah, we're going-
The game has been decided
The
every-
2-minute warning. Jimmy and them coming off. I'm turning y'all on because you're giving it to me live streaming. I'm like, with the caricatures that I need, the characterizations that I
emotion, the
need.
raw live
I'm like,
emotion.
yes.
I was sick.
Yes.
I was sick to my stomach, bro. I was sick. And then Jeff says, gee. He pulls it Adam the Bull. All of a sudden, his TV is 10 seconds ahead of ours. Gee, you don't understand. They have the ball. The Browns have it on the 40, and they're moving forward. I said, what? But they was just dead.
Let's be honest. Jeff is drunk or high for half of these
The
things.
best,
The Miller, he's 5 Millers in.
Here, for everybody to know, the
He's
best
fine.
time of it
Jeff.
is if it goes south for the Browns. The diatribe that comes after that is just like, you cannot.
McNuggets almost vomited when
Yes.
when they lost.
hit hard.
Man, I was like, he's officially a Clevelander now.
2 minutes, I'm coming off of the volume, and guess what's coming on?
I almost wanted to cry.
And I can warn you now, you think I was angry with these guys today. If the Browns defense gets humiliated like it has the last 2 weeks this week, you are going to see a different version of me Sunday and Monday.
YouTube
I'm
might
going to
censor
be.
us.
Hey,
telling
breaking news! It's not a joke. Clowney and Denzel Ward out Sunday for the Browns.
I knew it.
So no Clowney, no Ward Sunday. That just
Well,
came
we
down.
knew Ward had popped up there with the concussion.
I know,
Yeah,
and they
coach
activated a corner yesterday from the practice squad.
Well, I knew he wasn't coming. Was he?
You know what? Maybe Ward maybe he'd been better off without Ward right now, the way he's playing.
Chill out. Go chill, bro. Hey, Newsom, you ain't getting no more. Hey, don't be in the slot.
What happened to Clowney now? That guy is always hurt.
Well, that's from South Carolina.
Got the Bengals.
That ain't nothing new.
Let's talk a little Guardians, though. We do have a game here in 22 minutes now. First pitch.
This is another one.
Bull, I really wanted to get your thoughts on this because I was crushed when I saw that it was a 107 start.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Yeah.
What's the strength of the Guardians?
Bullpen.
What happened in game 2 against the Rays, who have a good bullpen, but not our bullpen?
Right. You're worried about the sun.
I'm worried
see
about the
nothing.
shadows.
Yeah.
So at about 3:45,
That's what happened.
the shadow is going to creep over the pitcher into the pitcher's mound.
Right.
And it's going to neutralize because by then the game's in the 7th inning.
Because you can't see.
And that's when we win games. We win games because you can't hit our bullpen.
Yeah.
Right.
But now the Yankees can also say, guess what? You can't hit our bullpen either.
Right.
But to get to that point, the Guardians have to start hitting like they've done for most of this year, putting the ball in play. They've been the opposite in these three playoff games. They have played in these 3 games like a typical baseball team. They've only scored on home runs, and they've struck out a ton, and that's not what they did all year. No. They were patient all year. They had their slumps here and there. Not much in the second half of the year, though, except for that week and a half where they played against the Mariners and really struggled against the Mariners. They were patient. They put balls in play.
Yeah.
They manufactured runs. They moved base runners. They ran the bases well. They put hits together. We haven't seen any of that. No. Ultimately, if we don't start seeing that today, they're going down.
I thought we saw that for the first 3 innings.
One of the things I saw.
His pitch count was at 60.
Yeah,
He just didn't get the clutch hit.
But they couldn't
get the
put
clutch
the
hit.
hits together enough.
Right.
The Guardians have been opportunistic. They really have been.
Yeah.
And I would say the last 2 games, leaving the bases loaded, not being able to
Twice.
capitalize on that. That's a problem in the playoffs. You've got to manufacture the runs. You have to.
That's right.
You have to take advantage. Here, the Yankees payroll will tell you they're not no slouch. So if they give you an opportunity, we had a chance to put them really behind the 8 ball in game 1. We did. And we let it get away. Now, we escaped in game 2 when we went to the 5th inning. We escaped.
Bases loaded, nobody out, and won. And that doesn't typically happen
escaped with
in the
that,
playoffs.
right? That's not going to work long term.
No.
So I'm hopeful that today at 1 o'clock, even though it's an early game, that we come out swinging here. We have to.
I hope we take a lead early.
Tito's going to have to seriously think during those later innings about pitch hitting for some of these guys. Because, we talked about it yesterday, when you got Hedges and Straw at the bottom of your order, them is 2 automatic outs almost.
The Straw thing's trickier. I think he's less likely to pinch hit for Straw because Straw's
He's
a better
fast.
hitter than Hedges.
He's
fast,
fast.
and you can't replace his defense on this team. Whereas Hedges, Maley's a good defensive catcher too,
But
and they got 3 catchers. I definitely can't let Hedges hit in a big spot. It depends on the spot of the game. But
I'd be surprised if he got 3 at bats.
The problem also is the guys that bring him to pinch hit aren't that good either.
Right.
So, like somebody said,
And they're young.
In fact, my buddy Anthony Limer from The Fan texted me yesterday. He's like, should they start somebody else besides Naylor? And I'm like, who are you going to start? I know he hasn't been great against lefties.
He has to hit. He is the only other source of power besides Ramirez, and he is playing horrible. His at-bats against lefties is like he's fanning
too aggressive.
He has been, but here's the thing, guys. He's a guy that if he can get 1 big hit, pumps up the whole team.
There it is.
And that's why I'm not benching him. If I had a great guy, if I had a guy who just murdered lefties on the bench, I might consider it. But they don't have that guy. There is no guy.
They kind of are who they are.
They are who they are.
That's it. Yeah, you're not going to.
And they got to be that team. And Shane Bieber's got to pitch a gem. It's that simple.
I'll say this: a lot of things have to happen for them to win.
Yeah.
I can say if Bieber doesn't pitch well, they will not win.
Right.
They absolutely will not.
No
win.
chance.
But if they do win, it's a whole nother series.
No, listen. If they win, it's like the Padres. They're going home against the vaunted LA Dodgers. Their arch nemesis, the hated team from up north on the coast.
Right.
They get 2 games in San Diego now. If they win them both, the Dodgers are done.
Here's the thing.
And we would have the Yankees in the same
When you're
spot.
in a 7-game series, the trick is you just
5.
This
is 5.
I mean 5 games.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You just want to It's 2 games in New York. We just want to get a split.
Just one.
That's right. Just a split.
Just one.
Just a
Now,
split.
the pressure would have been all on New York had we won game 1.
Right.
But I think with each game that the favorite wins, there's less pressure on them, and they're more likely to be better when the situation calls for it.
So we looking
So
for
I
the
think
split.
that's tough.
Yeah, agreed. But the expectations across the country that the Yankees going to win. Nobody thinks the Guardians are going to win the series.
No.
And I don't think there's a lot of pressure. I don't think Shane Bieber's a guy that's going to feel any pressure. I do think he's going to go out there this afternoon and he's going to perform.
I hope he looked like he did the first game of the Tampa Bay series.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
It's weird when you watch a matchup that has Bieber, and he doesn't have the lowest ERA.
Yeah,
that's very rare. But
you want a cool Bieber stat real quick?
Love one.
Here's a good and a bad Bieber stat tied in one. Over his last 14 starts, you take tag word full, Steve. I'm reading this is from Cleveland Stats. He's one of the best analytics guys in baseball.
He's been great.
He's unbelievable. Over his last 14 starts, including the playoff win over Tampa Bay, he has a 1.97 ERA and a 10-2 record. However, he is 1-2 with a 7.52 ERA in 4 career starts against the Yankees.
Give me the recent over the history anytime.
Right.
I agree.
Especially when the recent is that big of a body of work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy how some teams just see and hit guys better than others. But Bieber, if he's on his A game, it doesn't matter who he's pitching against.
No.
He's
Would you? I thought about this. Now, Judge, he was 0 for 0 for 4. I think he struck out 3 times.
His postseason numbers in his career, it's easy. You know, he's not been in that much postseason. It's not good.
I would. Would you consider putting him on first base?
No.
Nah.
No, we talked about that.
I mean, if I got an open first base.
Yeah, like if
the situation calls for it.
Right, but not
if
just
there's a guy on second and there's 2 outs, maybe. But the guy hitting, all the guys hitting behind them are all capable of hitting a home run.
Well, and Rizzo.
So when you put him on base, you turn a 2-run homer into a 3-run homer.
As anybody in Cleveland knows, Rizzo is a seasoned-proven postseason performer.
He kills us.
He's a great performer.
As much as I didn't like him when he was with the Cubs, I dislike him even more now.
He's the Tino
You only
Martinez
disliked him because he played against the Guardians. Had it not been Cubs Guardians, you wouldn't have disliked him because he's a likable guy.
I love him any other time.
Right.
The reason I dislike him is because he slays us.
Yeah, I hate him.
He's a great player. It's disrespectful.
I don't like his face.
Or it's a respectful dislike.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I don't dislike anything about him, the person.
Right.
And
it's just when he comes up, I'm like, here we go.
He's a clutch.
Here he is again.
He's been a clutch postseason guy. He's very dangerous. So I'm not giving Aaron Judge any kind of Barry Bonds treatment.
No, I'm not either. And because we handled him well in the first game, and by the way, this season, against Bieber and Tristan combined, he's 1 for 12 with 4 strikeouts.
Now you make a mistake, it's going deep.
Yeah,
that's it. But
I don't want to start him up. The Guardians need 5 runs tonight. I just feel they need 5.
Wow.
They need 5 runs.
Well, they only about 15 minutes from.
First
we're going to do final takes real quick because Little Bull has a final take too. Yeah. So, Bull, if you want to start, it is all you. We'll go around the horn, keep them quick, and then Aaron's going to close us off today.
Yeah, yesterday I was watching. Actually, it wasn't yesterday. I think it was put out yesterday, but I saw it this morning. It was Josina Anderson, who's been on our show. I really like her. She does like a podcast. I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows the name of it.
I've seen it. I can't think of the name
But
of it.
I was watching it this morning, and they were talking about Odell Beckham Jr., who, again, made a nuisance of himself by complaining about the Rams lowballing him. I got to say, I've spent a lot of time crushing Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, deservedly so. And there are so many apologists for Baker Mayfield. It's crazy. But there are even more for Odell Beckham, who consistently, when it comes to football, not like personal life, I'm not saying he's a bad guy or anything. And in fact, I met with him once personally, talked with him for 10 minutes off the air, and I thought he was a wonderful person. We had a great conversation about things I would never share that I was stunned he shared with me. So I find him very likable. But he is constantly, from a football perspective, doing the wrong thing. He seems more focused on his attire than he is on staying on the field. He's always injured. He hasn't been a superstar in 5 years. People still treat him as if. And he's always he's complaining about the Rams. The Rams salvaged his career last year, and he's complaining about them lowballing him, which I don't get. He was, getting his father involved in the video. The way he threw Eli Manning under the bus was completely wrong. The boat trip with the Giants. Like, I've made a ton of apologies for Odell, but But, like, I can't believe, again, people are apologizing for him. Like, that's lame to call out the Rams for lowballing you. Just negotiate. Eventually somebody will pay you. You're never on the field. How am I supposed to trust you? I think it's ridiculous.
It's a fair point. Yeah. They gave him an opportunity when no one else was apparently willing to.
Yeah.
Or at least they were the highest bidder.
Short-term memories out here.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to flip the script a little bit. I'm going to go back to something we talked about earlier. Just very quick, I'm going to toss some of you of my time to G. But, you know, I like the way this new Big Ten is shaping up. Have you watched and seen USC and UCLA out there in the West Coast? This thing is coming along lovely. Yeah. Lovely. I started thinking about it last week. Michigan versus USC, Ohio State versus UCLA.
I like that.
That thing is nice. It's very nice, and it's got the new Big Ten has tentacles, right? Real tentacles. They even mentioned the UCLA coach at the Big Ten Media Day for men's basketball, right? Mm-hmm. This thing is shaping up lovely. If it goes well, I'm just thinking about the type of talent that's going to be attracted to the Big Ten. My question, I think I said this before, what's going to happen with the Northwesterns, the Minnesotas, and Purdue's, right?
They're irrelevant.
Right, because are you going to be able to go to L.A. and snatch some talent, or is all the talent going to say, I'm going to L.A., D.C., Ohio State's going to always hold its own? And I'm looking forward to when they come into this conference, because this is going to be a major power conference here. So if you out there watching, go and catch you a little Pac-12 football right now, right? Because what UCLA has going on out there in USC is soon to be added to the Big Ten lineup, and it may no longer be Ohio State and Michigan sitting at the top of the ticket.
Hey, man, listen, you done switched my whole joint up, bro. You done
you threw it off the rails.
Dang, man, you done hijacked my whole thought process. And I got to follow OG with that, man. Let me tell you something, man. I love the NFL. I love it. I can't get enough of it. The games are close. But I done seen some trash games. I done seen some garbage games the last two Thursdays.
Brutal.
Scoring's down a little bit, and I understand. I'm always watching the NFL. But let me tell you what. College football is a damn good product. It's a damn good product. I'm going to tell you what. I've watched in the SEC. You just talked about USC and UCLA going there. And the thing I like most about the NCAA is, see, when you put people's feet to the fire and you almost forced out, people then got to change and evolve. Now, when NIL comes in, the transfer portal, you know what it did? It evened the playing field. No longer could you be a school getting 90 scholarships, telling guys they're going to play and then get rid of them. Now, the kids are just going wherever they want to go. And guess what? Now the simple fact that we're going to have up to 16 teams in the playoff, and that's around the corner, that's not 10 years. That's like upon us. Can you imagine what kind of that means your whole month of December is filled with championship games and matchups that you always wanted to get. Mm-hmm. You'll get to USC versus the Texas. You'll get back to the Ohio State versus the LSUs. You're going to get all the Oklahomas versus Michigan games, and you're going to get the pageantry, the same locations, and the bowls. I'm going to tell you what, man. College football, they might not ever eclipse the NFL, but for their little niche market, they're going to do very well with the new additions that they made.
And the tickets are cheaper.
There it is.
Right. Mine's real short and sweet. It's getting late for the Cleveland Browns. It's week 6. They're 2-3, and this is, you always hear this. What's the most important game? The next game. Well, it is absolutely this game, because if this is an L, all of the games that precede it will be less important, because 2-4 is too big of a hole to dig out of. Everybody loves analytics. If you look analytically, statistically, teams that start 2-4 almost never make the playoffs. Almost never. And we know that we've got to go the next 5 weeks with a backup quarterback even after this game. So I think there needs to be a playoff mentality coming into this football game. Bill Belichick coaches every game as if it's the Super Bowl. That's just how he does it. That's why he'll tell you, this game isn't any different for us. We're looking at it as a game that we got to win. That's what we do with all of our games. I haven't seen any sense of urgency out of the Browns all season. I'm hoping when I turn on the TV Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, it feels like a playoff game, because it's getting late early. And now for This is the highlight of the show.
By the way, Aaron's going to talk about the fact that the 4 teams that were in the Final Four of the playoffs last year all had their coach calling offensive plays. All 4.
No, I'm not.
Is that what happened?
You're not talking about that?
I'm
Tell
not.
everybody what you're doing here.
I am saying a monologue from, the principal I've seen from Uncle Buck.
Wow.
That's what he's doing. This is what he did
How many times has he seen the movie?
once.
But it's my favorite movie by him, by John.
He loves John Candy.
Candy.
Wow.
All right, so he did this as
To get into a play.
a play, which he got into.
And you got into it, right?
Yep.
Nice.
All right, I'll hold this for you. You
Hey.
go.
Go to it, young man.
I don't want to know a 6-year-old who is a dreamer or a silly heart. I especially don't want to know one who takes their student career seriously. I don't have a job. Sorry, I said it backwards.
Go ahead.
I don't have a college degree. I don't even have a job. But I know a good kid when I see one. Because they're all good kids. Until dried out, brain dead skags like you drag them down and tell them they're no good. If you so much as scowl at my niece or any other kid in this school, and I hear about it, I'm coming looking for you. Take this quarter. Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that ugly thing off your face. Good day to you, madam.
Please tell me you got the lead in the school play.
No, he doesn't have the lead.
How in the world can anybody look at that and not give him the lead?
So it's not the school play. It's actually the Beck Center in Lakewood.
Like a community play.
Yeah, it's the Beck Center in Lakewood, and they teach art there. They teach dance, music, and acting.
Yeah.
And so a bunch, like 100 kids tried out. There are 50 speaking roles, and he's got like
I'm the main bad guy in one of my scenes.
one of the scenes.
Main bad guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't, I mean,
He's fighting. He's jousting another kid for the love of a woman.
And the thing is, I win the jousting match. But when I try to get off my horse, I fall and die.
spoiler alert.
Sorry, I spoiled it.
By the way,
all right.
that's your pension right there.
Yeah, right.
That's your pension.
I'm his
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah, like
Aaron, you're a great kid,
Yeah,
man.
Thank you.
You're a
was
great
nice.
kid.
That was very nice.
And your dad's not bad either. I don't want you to think that I think poorly of your dad because I yelled at him today. You don't
He
dislike
knows
me
that's
for that,
part
do
of the
you?
deal, right?
I know how it works.
Aaron,
Yes.
take a bow.
he's heard it quite a time.
He's heard me yelling and arguing with people for years.
Put the camera on him so he can take a bow. Take your bow.
Take a bow.
Take
Take
a
a bow.
I have one other question for you.
Take your bow
Now,
first.
I know that Dad didn't talk to you about this. So when you guys were flying back from New York,
Oh, yeah.
after the bar mitzvah, Dad got a little touchy when someone tried to button line and cut him on the airplane. What were you thinking when Dad was yelling at this guy for being rude?
I agree.
You were with Dad on that.
Yeah, I was with Dad.
You said he would be.
Well, I think he should have. Well,
Go ahead,
maybe
be honest.
yelled. But
shouldn't
you
have
could-
yelled?
Yeah, but I get your point
All right.
about that. Like he shouldn't have.
Because
like,
his
I
mom
was the
wouldn't
back
have
of the
yelled,
plane.
right?
It's like he said, I've got a connection. I didn't even know what that meant. So I don't know what you were talking
That's great.
about.
So you're good with the methodology was flawed with the yelling, but other than that, you were glad that he stood up for the small
Yeah.
man on the plane.
Yes, I was.
Well done, Aaron.
Say goodbye,
McNuggets
buddy.
is going crazy in there. Are we out of time?
No, but we want to get people out there leaving for the Guardians game, so we want to make sure they can get out for the Guardians game. Let's
Yes.
a little bowl.
Okay.
Say goodbye and send us to the weekend.
Yes.
Farewell, everybody. Bye. From the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
There it is.
Bye.
My man.
See ya.
He's got the performer in him.
And the
Yeah.
last super chat from Nick says Bull will star in the Honeymooners remake To the Moon.
To the moon.
To the Moon. See
He
you on
doesn't know
Monday.
what that means. He's too young. Enjoy the games today and Sunday. We'll see you Monday.
We got a busy weekend. That's great.